It was billed as the Expendables of horror and filled with lofty expectations, but the end leaves you with nothing but disappointment, confusion, and anger. We watched Death House. We watched it so you don't have to, so you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad and scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad and scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Horrible Horror Moon-goons. I don't know why I messed up my own opening. I do it all the time, but fuck it. Anyway, this is Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Marshall Hampton. With me today on a very special episode is, as always, my co-host with Aaron Southworth.
Episode 150.
You fucker. I was going to do it at the big reveal, but all right. We didn't talk about this beforehand.
You just introduced me and then didn't tell me what you're going to do. I expect me to do anything.
All right. Well, we'll pretend you didn't hear that. And coming to the show is on the show is Mr. Chris Samples.
Gentlemen.
He is back and returning from his long absence, from his hiatus, his sabbatical, his sojourn, if you will, Mr. Coffee Doug Jones!
Man, that turned me on just now. Honestly.
How come Doug gets the big
I know. He used the word sojourn. I don't even know what that word means.
He wasn't really on sabbatical. He was just locked in my basement.
Oh, okay. I guess if you were more not as around as much as Doug was, you'd get a bigger
entrance.
Fine.
I see.
I give it to Doug to try to encourage him to come back more often.
Oh, I love you guys. It's never because I don't want to be here.
This is, as Aaron said, this is our 150th episode of the Horrible Horror Podcast, Moon-goons. 150. Yes, round of applause for us.
Aaron spoiled it. Jeez.
So we
Go to the corner, Aaron.
We want to do something big, just a big moment. So what better thing to do than finally get to doing Death House?
Death House.
We had been talking about this movie for years on this show. We kept saying, "Oh, it's gonna come out." Everybody's heard about it. Oh, it's just supposed to be coming out this time, and it never came out. Oh, it's supposed to come out this time, never came out. Mm-hmm. And so, if you've been listening to us for a while, you know we've talked about this movie for a long time.
We've made reference to this movie probably since 2015, 16, early 2016.
Yeah, easily.
Saying, "Hey, so Deborah Rochon is in Killer X. She's also supposed to be in Death House." And,
yeah.
Of course, everyone knows Kane Hodder's supposed to be in Death House, and Sig Haig is supposed to be in Death House. So we've talked about it quite a bit.
Yeah, a lot.
Just you saying that, whenever you guys asked me to be on this episode, I had heard about that movie through all of you, and I just quit following because I thought it was bullshit. And when you said to watch that, and I saw that it was the Expendables of horror, I was like, they fucking released that movie? Like, how did I not hear that?
Yeah,
right.
I thought the same thing. Like, I'll get into notes, but like, apparently it came out, and I'll say, but this was originally released in February 23rd, 2018 is when it says released, but I just found it like just past October or something on Amazon. Like, this release, I guess, was way under the radar.
I saw on Wikipedia it was released in November 6th of 2018. Like, it's so convoluted.
Yeah,
for such a movie that's supposed to be, quote unquote, the Expendables of horror.
I can't think of any other horror movie that's been talked about and so anticipated
right.
as this one was. And then they turned out to be what it is. And
like the shittiest little release.
And my Coors Light going.
If you want to be gross, if you're going and you're humping a lady and you're going to town and then you're expecting a nice big person, like, huh, what happened?
And that's kind of what, that's kind of what Death House was. Yeah.
Was it released in theaters?
Very limited, apparently.
Really?
Very limited.
So I'm sure it was like just L.A. where they screened it.
Yeah, I'll get to that at the end. But before we move on to Death House, I do have two things to mention. First, I have a correction from our Minutes to Midnight episode. I was wrong about something. I had to admit when I'm wrong clear something out of the air.
Everybody hold on.
Now, in that episode, I said Johnny Harrison, a.k.a. John Morrison, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Knight, was Mercury in the Eminem tag team. I was wrong. He was Nitro.
Oh.
Aaron, you were. I think you said on that one you were correct. He was Johnny Nitro. It was Johnny Nitro and Joey Mercury. So the J's got mixed up in my
Don't
head.
mess with Aaron and his wrestling marshal.
Hey, I know you're pretty on point with that too, but yeah, I was wrong. He was Nitro, not Mercury. Mercury's the guy who got his face busted open by a ladder by Jeff Hardy.
So did a fan call in
No,
and say, "Hey man"?
No, it was just after we were off the air. I was sitting around doing something, and like a light bulb in my head. I'm like, don't. I just had that moment. And
Should have said I was a fan.
I should have.
Oh
well. Anyways.
And fans, if you find something that we say that's fucked up and wrong, you're like, that's not right.
Oh, I did have one fan corrected me about, speaking of wrestlers, Kane, when we did See No Evil, I said he was the mayor of some county in Kentucky, and I was wrong. He's actually the mayor of Knox County in Tennessee. So a fan did correct me on that one.
People like to call us out on wrestling references.
Hey, whatever gets the interaction, I'm fine with. But speaking of references and moving on, I do also want to mention one more time the movie Camp Death 2 in 3D. We did a little mini preview episode on this. Its official release date on Amazon is coming up. I think it's February 4th is when it's going to be released to digitally watch.
That's
so,
right around the corner.
Yeah, right around the corner. So if you want, go out and check that out. It's a silly, slapsticky spoof of a horror movie. You can listen to our bonus episode. We try not to spoil too much in our little preview, but you can.
Yeah, it's hard to do a bonus episode where you don't want to spoil the release date because we got this kind of on on the sly, being technically media.
Yeah, the writer director of it came to us and said, "Hey, can you want to review our movie?" He gave us like a link to a special screener.
You guys want to watch my movie and rip it apart?
Yeah, basically, as what he said. He's like, whatever you say, just be honest about. It's cool, whatever. And like, all right, cool.
You got it, bro.
But
who was the other guy that you did that to, and then he got on your ass about it?
Oh, well, it was. He didn't get on our ass. It was his friends and fans that
a
got
lot
on
of
our
his
ass.
friends and family.
That was the guy who did Campground. And the thing was, we liked the guy though, Roman Jossler or something. He was awesome in Don't Fuck in the Woods.
He was.
But then his directorial movie, the
Campground requel,
especially Aaron,
right,
we both of us, but Aaron really laid into it. And
But it's good that you guys are honest.
We are honest. And then we saw on Facebook when oh, they don't know they're just being assholes. They don't know what talking. This is great. Blah blah blah. Yeah, so people started ripping us apart for that. We're like, fuck it, whatever.
How dare you have an opinion?
Yeah. Exactly. But also in Camp Death 2, just for you guys to know, we actually are going to be because of our, I guess, helpfulness with promoting it, I guess, and reviewing it. The guy was nice enough to give us a special thanks and actually a producing credit in the movie. So if you go to IMDb, you'll see horrible horror under special thanks and producer, I think.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
Crazy. So
you get residuals from that then?
yeah. Matt Frame, I want those checks coming. I'll tell you where to send them.
Yeah, it's gonna be 3 cents.
Anyway, all right. So that's that. Let's moving on to Death House. Like I said, it was released supposedly on February 23rd, 2018, but who the fuck knows? It was written by Gunnar Hansen. Everybody knows who he is. And then B. Harrison Smith. Now, Gunnar Hansen died before this movie was made and finished. So
that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Right.
So Smith ended up taking over the writing, and I don't know how much when I watched, I don't know how much Gunnar really had much of this.
Well, I noticed in the credits when it popped up, it said original story.
Yeah, I was just about to say, yes, exactly. As Aaron said, the original story concept is credited to Gunnar, and then screenplay is credited towards Harrison Smith. So
they do this just kind of a tribute to him, you think? Or
well, I guess it was in development. It was on its way, and to just honor the production and everything that was set forth, they just completed and it is the Expendables of horror. It takes all these great stars into it, and it's a great concept. So let's keep going with it. That's my guess.
Yeah, and let's talk about the cast. The cast is pretty much
who's who.
Yeah, every horror icon, from mainstream to indies. If they've been in horror movies and multiple, and they're in this, even the big names, small names, pretty much everyone except Robert Englund, which in my opinion, I'm thinking he had a good sense of wherewithal to pass on this. But then I kind of learned through reading some stuff that he said that he actually never received a copy of the script.
Yes, that's what I read too.
Wow.
So I guess they contacted him about doing it. He was maybe thinking about doing it, but he just never got the script to read it.
He said he expressed
beforehand.
some interest. It sounded interesting. He was talking to Kane Hodder about it. And
Yeah.
he's like, but never got any.
Sure, if he had gotten a script, he'd have been in on this. I mean,
Probably, but I'm glad.
What
In a
else
way,
is
I'm
he
like,
doing?
he dodged a bullet. I really think he dodged a bullet.
Just you mentioning that, the whole time I was thinking, watching this movie, they had the potential to do so much better. And just you saying that, like, where was Robert Englund in a good part, or like even Danielle Harris, or
that's another surprise. That's a surprise that Danielle Harris was not involved in this, and that's surprising compared to some of the other people.
She's in everything.
She does a lot of other shitty movies that just for fun, but I will talk about our two main heroes. Agent Jay Novak is played by Cody Longo. He's got 31 credits to his name. He's done 80 episodes of Days of Our Lives, and he was in Piranha 3D, which are the only two real things of significance worth mentioning for him. And then Agent Toria Boone, played by Courtney Palm. She's got 57 credits to her name, and this marks her second appearance on our show.
Yes, it does.
Her first appearance was way back when we were just young little tadpole podcasters, but in episode 5, where she was Zoe in Zombievers.
Yes.
Which we loved that movie.
Yes, and actually she is aware of our existence. She liked a lot of our stuff on Instagram.
Wow,
Yeah.
Hey, she knows
guys
who we
have a
are.
Yeah,
man.
she's because we posted stuff about Zombievers, and every once in a while we do a post of archive stuff, and I guess it's obviously she was in it, but she'll like a lot of our stuff and a few things here and there, and it's nice.
Well, Courtney, if you we loved you in Zombievers, love that movie, but hopefully if you hear this one, I apologize for what's going to come out of my mouth throughout this movie.
But she is an avid vegan, like crazy hardcore vegan. Like
shows.
Pictures of her hugging cows and stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just very interesting to see.
I'm not saying it because you know her. Before you even mentioned that, I was going to say that she didn't bother me in this movie at all, and I would watch more horror movies with that girl.
I agree.
I swear to God that I thought that. The guy drove me a little insane sometimes, but I feel like it was the movie. But the girl didn't bother me. It was the writing.
No, I agree with you about that. Courtney doesn't bother me. She's fine in this.
Because have you seen Zombievers?
I think I watched it because you guys recommended it years ago. But
and she's got good comedic timing. She's a
Okay.
good actress. She's solid.
But this movie is just. But and the last person I'm going to and just saying, this person is making her third appearance on our show, which gives her trifecta minimum requirements, if you will, for our Hall of Fame. Is Lauren Compton, who plays Dr. Logan Harrison, small part, but she was also in movies we did, Clown Town and Attack of the Killer Donuts.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
So this is her third appearance on our show.
Is she isn't the other girl Barbara?
No, that's Barbara Crampton. This is Lauren Compton.
Okay.
I did the same thing. I did a double take real quick. So that's all I'm gonna mention. Let's move into Death House now. Let's pry the doors open on this and be ready for a long show here, guys. We probably have a lot to say, and it's fucking crazy.
We're gonna try and keep the energy up.
We're gonna try with this movie. Woo! All right, so we open with farmer Tony Todd carrying an unconscious woman around out in the middle of nowhere along like some mountain range. The woman wakes up, she's like, I can't move. Why can't I move? So Todd lays her down on the ground. At this point, we start hearing screams of men and women screaming for help coming from a grate in the ground.
Yeah, he's pulls on the side of the road, and I didn't realize how big Tony Todd is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big dude because he's driving a van, like a double-door van. His head he comes up to the top of that van. I'm like, shit, I didn't know Tony Todd was such a big motherfucker.
Yeah.
Isn't he the original Candyman?
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was a Candyman.
Now I do want to say before that though, I really liked the quote. Like, because I heard shitty things about the movie, but the quote was, I wrote it to make sure, who prays for Satan, the original sinner? And it made me think, they always say pray for the wrongdoers and evil people in church. And I'm like, I've never heard anybody say pray for Satan.
That's the fucking same thing I thought, but I can't, I was...
Yeah.
I
I
just
just
forgot
liked
about it.
that
I was watching
quote.
it. Yeah.
I thought it was a good quote.
Huh.
But that's about it.
So we start getting weird right off the bat here with things that make zero sense. So he's laying her on the ground, and he's kind of like on top, not like mounting. It's nothing sexual, but he's just kind of laying over.
Yeah, because she says something to the effect of,
Why
"Don't,
can't I-
yeah,
what-
don't
what are you
kill
gonna
me,
do? What are you gonna
don't
do with
kill
me?"
me, don't rape me," and he's like, "I don't do that." He's like,
He says, I don't sell spoiled goods.
Yeah, like
damaged
damaged
goods.
goods,
Yes.
yeah.
But before he
She also says, "You're scaring me." Like, yeah, bitch, you know that this guy's got you kidnapped. Of course he's scaring you.
but before he even says that, he reaches over and turns on this water spigot that just happens to be there, and this water spigot doesn't pump out. It pumps out like what looks like crude oil. Like,
Yeah.
this black crude oil, which he gets all over his hand, and then he licks it off his hands.
Like, that's good.
And then he says to the girl, "You should try this," and starts rubbing it over her lips. And what the fuck is this shit supposed to be? Like, we don't know what it is.
Never comes back.
Never. It never comes back.
Nope,
Yeah.
it's just mystery black goo that he certainly loves.
Yeah.
He's like, this is delicious. Maybe it's chocolate syrup. Who knows?
I think maybe it's like the chocolate version of the stuff. Like the original stuff was white vanilla, and this is like the chocolate version.
Girl, you gotta try this. You're gonna love it.
I mean, it comes out of the ground like the stuff is. I mean, who fucking knows what this shit is?
It just never comes back.
Never
That's the
comes
thing that
back.
bothers me.
I know that. Yeah, exactly. So this girl who's actually played by Nicole Sinaglia.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. We actually saw her. This is her second appearance on the show. We saw her alongside Daniel Harris and Eric Roberts in Camp Dread. It was the last time we saw her. She has time. Rape and murder. He's like, no, I don't sell Daniel Good.
Was that summer you did like every camp movie?
Yeah, we did a camp.
We did
show.
it. Yeah. That was our summer of camps. Yeah.
Sorry.
So Tondon starts unbuttoning her shirt to reveal her stomach. And he starts telling her this backstory about how he used to be like a Venus flytrap farmer, which is weird.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he talks to her, and while he's talking to her, he's doing some kind of like Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, Ho Ho Shirai shit.
Yeah.
Oh, mom should be like, oh, mom should be like, oh, mom should be like.
But it's like he's like pushing his hand down into her stomach, and like he's gonna like rip out her heart or something, but it's like
Kali Ma.
Yeah, exactly, the Kali Ma shit. But then he just kind of pulls his hand out. There's no cuts, no trauma to her. It's like
Well, he's talking about when you have you gotta nip the flower in the bud. That's
For it to grow or something.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, it's.
But it's so weird. Like,
So
what
is
the
he
fuck is the
pulling
point of
Is
this?
he pulling an ovary out?
Can we
What was
already
he
talk
doing?
about? Let's just talk about this here because he's talking in such like thick text. His dialogue, the script that he was given, it's so convoluted. I mean, I was a Venus flytrap grower, and you have to make sure that he's speaking. It's not necessarily poetically. It's just like bizarre jargon.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really explain it. It's a very unnatural way of speaking.
It is.
And everyone has this.
Yeah.
Everyone has this across the entire movie.
Dude, the dialogue in this movie is mostly gibberish. It makes zero sense. I have a lot more to say on it, but it's
starts
a movie
here.
trying to be way more than it is. Like it's trying to portray it as like intellectual psychobabble bullshit that just doesn't pay off or work.
Incredibly in depth and yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You summed it up very well there. Yeah.
So yeah, he removes his hand from her stomach, and he doesn't come out. There's no stomach, there's no intestines. He doesn't come out with anything.
Yeah, where's the payoff?
It's like there's zero payoff.
It's like he's holding something, and there's like something dangling there. So
I thought it was just like bloody, the blackish goo
Yeah,
from
but
his
it's,
hand.
it's not like it's not something.
Yeah.
It's just goop.
It's just
you
goop.
know?
It's like, what was the point
It's
of
not
that?
like he pulls out,
yeah,
like
it
you
doesn't
said,
actually show what's in his hand.
like you said, an ovary
Right.
or a kidney or some
Yeah.
mat. It's just goop.
Yeah.
He's like, I got more goop. You already had goop on your fingers,
Yeah.
man.
And so anyway, he tells the girl not to worry, that she's not going where they're going. I guess referring to the people in the pit somewhere, and that she's going to the farm, which is a much better place supposedly.
Right.
And then he basically, it's like, so this girl just gives in to her fate. It's like, okay, because he so gently and almost gentleman like helps her into the back of his truck, where she's like willing, just like without any struggle, like, okay, I'm gonna get back in the truck and we're
With a
gonna go to the
hole in her
farm.
stomach. Just gets up and
no,
struts on
it
over.
heals back
there's
as he
no
pulls his
hole.
hand out.
Yeah, it
shows
heals
it,
back
like,
up.
Heal back.
Yeah, there's no hole in her
I
stomach.
didn't catch that.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
what I'm
like,
saying. There's
how is
nothing.
she-
What's the point? There's no hole there. There's not even a mark or a cut. There's nothing.
That's why it's like that Indiana Jones scene where he the guy takes his heart out of his chest and his chest heals back up. It's like he reaches into her stomach and her stomach heals back up. And then she seems to be more...
And she's like docile.
Yeah.
She's like, okay,
I
I'll go
didn't
along
catch
with you.
that. Never mind, guys. A+ movie. So I just missed it. That's all.
And then he puts in the truck and they drive off. And now we roll the title card, and we cut to Agent Toria Boone sitting in the passenger side of a car that's waiting in line like a security checkpoint. And we
Do not deviate from the yellow line.
Yeah.
Do not deviate from the yellow line. Do not deviate from the yellow line. Do not. It's like, oh god.
So, and then we see we cut to what I guess is supposed to be like a flashback, and we see Boone dressed in all black, holding like an M16 or an M4, while Kane Hodder stands over a woman who's holding a child, speaking some cryptic bullshit, and there seems to be like a very heavy Nazi theme
They're
going
wearing
on.
like SS out. Some
Yeah,
like,
almost
yeah,
SS like
it's
stuff.
it's as close to SS as you can get. I mean, it has the little skull on the insignia, the
Yeah.
crossbones, and it's gray and black. I mean, it looks straight out of World War II,
Yeah.
really.
Fucking Hydra.
And,
Yeah, Hail Hydra.
yeah, but the screen, it's weird because this is supposed to be a flashback, but the screen is
Oh, you can tell it's done. It's all green
inten-
screen background.
intentionally done. It looks like it's intentionally done to be like a fuzzy old VHS or something.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a weird choice.
Yeah, everything in this movie is a fucking weird choice. So Kane hands the woman some small blue bottle and tells her it's time to die. And the woman throws the bottle down, and you see these two pills, I guess, cyanide.
It
pills,
reminded me
whatever.
very much of Hitler, Ava
Yeah,
Braun
yeah.
in the bunker when the Allied forces were
That's
coming.
what I thought
yeah.
too, but like that doesn't really. Again, they don't really seem to follow up with that.
No,
so,
that was my first instinct.
that was my first too. Kane calls Boone over to him, and he takes her M16 and hands him his like handgun, and then turns on some opera music. And
Yeah, with like this shitty old painter's like boombox.
Yeah.
Like it's just so weird. It's just a weird choice.
And so this opera music comes on, and Agent Boone just shoots the woman and the child, killing them.
One bullet.
One bullet kills them both. Yeah.
She puts their heads
That's
together.
nice.
Yeah, and their brains were splattered everywhere. I'm like, that one handgun bullet did
Yeah.
that? Okay.
She's a crack shot.
So after Boone kills him, Kane tells her this is their end game, that they had to see this through. Boone then turns the gun on Kane, who it's like she's gonna kill him now, but he says, "Oh, you want me alive?" And so she shoots him in the leg, and my little girl just came down to the studio again.
Hey,
Hi,
kiddo.
sweetheart. You are in for an interesting ride. You should not be down here right now. Why am I still recording this?
Give us a review.
What do you think about Death House, sweetheart? It's me? Yeah. Okay. We'll be right back. And we're back. Sorry about that, but anyway, like I said, so Boone turns the gun on Kane, and she basically shoots him in the leg.
Why didn't she do that before she killed those two people?
Good question.
That's a great question.
Isn't it a great question?
It's a wonderful question. But yeah, you would absolutely think she would just shoot Kane before she murdered an innocent woman and her child.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they give you the reason for that later, though. Somewhat.
Sort
Kind
of.
Yeah, they do give you the reason later.
Sort of.
But you would think she would get the same end result, because either way she still brings in Kane.
Yeah.
Or would have brought in Kane, so I don't know why she has to murder. Anyway.
Yeah, how she doesn't get in trouble for killing two innocent people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Very odd.
I killed two people. We'll get to it. All right.
So we go back to the Boone sitting in her car, and we see Kane being escorted by like 6 armed guards. They walk right up to her car, which again is really weird for a prison. I don't think they bring a prison like right up to somebody's car
With her window down?
with her window down. She's just sitting in it.
It's like, hold on, he's got to talk a little shit before we take him into
Yeah.
solitary. He's got something to say to you, bitch.
Yeah.
Right.
They exchange some words, and basically it ends with Kane saying he's going to fuck her in hell, and he's just escorted away like everything's fine.
Classy guy.
Yeah. Now we jump to Boone being escorted down a hallway by armed guards. She's led to some room full of like these high-tech monitors and computers, kind of like a control center. Here she meets up with Captain Galen. Galen welcomes her to the death house. And in comes a very stern-looking Dr. Fletcher, played by Dee Wallace, who last we saw on our show was in Red Christmas. But everybody's gonna know who Dee Wallace is.
Captain Galen
Captain Galen
looks like Bernie Mac ate Wayne Brady. You know, like
He does.
he's like this tall, kind of meaty, beefy black guy, and he just
Bernie Mac 8 Wayne, but that's a great.
yeah, that's what
I
it
love
looks
that.
like.
I love that.
It looks like they mushed him together.
And behind Galen, in comes Agent Novak, and we learn that both these agents are recent graduates, but we don't know what the fuck they graduated from.
Right.
They never say.
They were at the top of their class.
That's all we know.
Special agent school.
Yeah, special agent school. Galen says something to Boone about her honors request, which becomes a thing throughout this movie later. And then we jump to Galen leading Boone down a long white corridor. Now, while Galen's walking, I don't know about you guys, but the look on his face that he's making while he's walking, to me looks like he's trying to hold in his shit while trying to look tough at the same time. He had this weird ass look on his face.
It was like a combination of like nervous and like pumped. It's like a boxer going in, like an underdog boxer about to go in the ring. He's like, oh, he's trying to look tough, but he's scared too.
Yeah, like he is so honest looking. Like, it was such
like-
a weird look on his face.
Way too intense.
So he felt like he had a fart, but it could have been a shit.
Yeah,
So he
I was
didn't
like,
wanna let
oh,
it squeak
Like,
out.
I don't know. This is my actorial debut. I don't want to ruin this. Ah!
So now I guess I don't know. I'm actually a big. Anyway, so he leads. They lead to like a guarded room, and he tells her that this is her honor's request. Boone goes inside, and now I guess we're standing in what I guess is supposed to be a shitty version of a Star Trek holodeck.
Yes!
Or an X-Men danger room or
Yes,
something.
that's exactly what I thought. And this is, but they don't give any like. They're like, here you go. We as the viewer don't have any idea what's happening.
None whatsoever. Absolutely zero.
It's like go this way, and all of a sudden the walls are like flickering, like
Yeah.
psh, psh, like static on a TV, like
Yeah, it's
white
like
noise.
snowy static TV. And
So
she's-
the whole room is going, psh, psh, you know, what the fuck is going on? She's walking around, picking stuff up, looking. It's
she's
like
in
a bedroom.
It's like at first I thought it was like an office, like a psychiatrist's office, but it's more like a living room or something.
Yeah, it's like a
that.
living room. Yeah,
You can
And-
tell she recognizes the place. I mean,
for the most part. Yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of looks like it. Yeah.
And the ex-Aaron said the walls keep flashing, the static, and in walks Danny Trejo
Yeah.
in red scrubs.
Here comes Machete.
Yeah,
Machete.
he just comes walking, and he's holding a weapon that looks like a large bike gear on the end of a stick. It's like, what the fuck is this supposed to be? It's like a post-apocalyptic makeshift weapon or something.
It looks like something out of Mad Max,
yeah,
Fury Road.
It's
This
like
is-
a gear on a stick.
Why didn't they just give him a fucking machete?
They should
Yeah,
have.
no shit.
Right? That would just why? That's such an easy make right there.
Yep.
So, Danny walks right past Goon like she's not even there, and Boone says, "Jesus Christ, Mom," and follows Trejo into the next room, where we see him now mounted on top of a woman, pinning her down onto the bed. Trejo kills, which I guess is supposed to be Boone's mom, as Boone just stands there and watches. And then after the mom's dead, she shoots Trejo in the chest with a gun. She walks up to Trejo. He mutters to her, "Free them," and then dies. And
I thought he said free the hemp. I thought that's what he said.
I have a new strain of marijuana on sale in Colorado, California, Washington, Oregon. Get your Jenny Trejo hemp.
I really
Free
thought
hemp.
that's what he said. Never mind. Do you know who the girl was on the bed?
the only thing I come is it's supposed to be
her
mother.
Yes.
Like it's a memory
the
or a flash.
actress, though.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah, it's
It's
it
the
was in
girl
there.
from I Spit on Your Grave. So Camille
Okay.
Keaton. So
Yeah.
what's really weird is the one quick cameo they give her is her in
Being
bed and some
raped.
guy being on top of
They
her attacking her.
Do that to so many people in this
It's
movie.
like it was weird. Yeah, it was just weird.
Yeah, thank you for the name. I could think
Again,
of it.
if
I
it's
know
supposed to be
it
the Expendables of horror movies,
Yeah.
can get a little FaceTime? I mean,
yeah, can they get a little more recognition than like a glimpse of her face
Like,
fighting Danny
I didn't, even
Trejo?
think, I didn't even notice. I don't remember even seeing her face. I
because
remember seeing
apparently
like hair and a body. but I
Brinky
didn't-
Stevens is in this movie too, and I don't.
I
ever
spotted
see
her. I
Did
spotted
you?
her.
I was
I'll-
going to ask about that because she's credited. I was like, I don't remember ever seeing her. in
I'll,
this.
I never saw her.
I'll point her out when
Okay.
yeah.
Um,
And I was pissed.
Okay.
Pissed.
so
Getting a little
Trejo,
southern here.
Trejo dies, and then Boone just unloads the rest of her clip
She
into
shoots
him.
him, he dies, and then
Bam.
she loads the clip on him.
So now we go to D. Wallace and Novak watching basically a female version of Leatherface dance around with a chainsaw while wearing a human skin mask and a leather apron.
It's so Leatherface, it's ridiculous.
To the point where what her name was.
The beautiful way they got around it was
Yeah.
Leather lace.
leather lace.
She was dubbed Leather Lace instead of Leatherface. And she's dancing. This room's covered in blood. And there's a man tied up to a chair in there too. And Leatherlace. This is where played by horrible horror alumni Debbie Roshan.
Yeah, Debbie Roshan.
Roshan.
And again, great actress, has got like good acting chops.
Whoa. I don't know about great, but
hey man, she fucking killed it in Killer Rack.
I would say the exception of Killer Rack, yes. But you didn't see Santa Claus that Chris and I had to sit through.
That was
this
a
is true.
'96.
But yeah, Dr. Kate
I forgot
Thulu,
about
she was
Killer
good.
Rack.
Killed it.
Killed in that one. So yeah, Wallace tells Novak that the woman is Amma Lynn Kinney, aka Leatherlace, blah blah blah. And Wallace gives Novak Leatherlace's backstory as they watch footage on but it's kind of like a crappy version of like one of those like high tech like Iron Man you see the Iron Man Tony Stark's like lab like where you like
Or Minority Report.
Minority Report type thing. It's like one of those like
CSI.
high-tech,
It's like where they can just
move your hand here, flip this stuff here. It's just a really really shitty version of that. It's like the shittiest possible version of that.
It's like the dollar store version. It says it does this. No one will know the difference.
I found this in the bargain bin.
Exactly.
It's just as good.
So Wallace starts talking about the prison's radical psychological treatments, which again this is where we get into so much psychological bullshit nonsense. It's just there's so many scenes and so much dialogue that about this place is cutting edge yet experimental and borderline inhumane treatments, really, and it's trying so hard to make it sound like some sci-fi, highly intellectual, but it's just saying a bunch of fucking gibberish and nonsense.
It's trying hard to sound smart.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's just nonsense.
It's trying hard to sound like advanced, like this is beyond government. This is something special, and this is. And the dialogue that they're using is kind of not necessarily above your head, but it's unnecessary. It's incredibly unnecessary.
They're trying to, in that kind of scene when they start, I'm like, are they trying to comment on today's society in a way? And they're not getting there at all.
No.
Yeah, they do try to make comments like that near the
They
end.
absolutely
like,
do.
Try to make social commentary, but again, it just failed miserably in all aspects of that. And another thing is like they try to talk so smartly. It's like maybe if we try to talk so smartly, and people will forget about won't realize how much bullshit this is. Like we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Don't they say too that like this prison or whatever has been open since the Eisenhower era?
Yes, they said it was open. We haven't gotten it yet, but
sorry.
The prison itself, the main prison was open in the Eisenhower era, yes, but then like Death House was built like underneath it into the ground, and that is new, but. Yeah, I can't imagine they're saying the Death House was open back then.
But they try to tie it to like actual government conspiracies, like Operation Paperclip and like all this other stuff that actually happened, and they're trying to tie it all in to get that, and it's kind of getting lost in translation what this place is supposed to be. They're just throwing out like buzzword.
Yeah, that's a great way. Yeah, Wallace goes on to say that they can erase all memories and implant new ones, and that their goal is to eradicate all evil. We cut to Wallace introducing Boone and Novak to Dr. Karen Redmayne, played by Barbara Crampton. Crampton gives them a tour of this large room filled with various people in red scrubs or jumpers, unconscious on these makeshift beds. All of them are hooked up to machines via IV tubings and all this stuff. And Crampton tells the agents that they are paralyzed with cure or something like that. Which is fed to them in a constant supply. They're fed. All these people are fed with a constant supply of the cure.
What was it, the cocktail that they were using?
This leads us to our educational moment. First educational moment of the day, and since Aaron is the medical expert here, I am going, and he knows how to pronounce these fancy medical terms. I actually gonna let Aaron read you our educational moment for the day, all about cure. It's Curare. Curare or Curare or something like that is how it's pronounced, I think. So Aaron can take it away with the education moment.
All right, Curare is a common name for various plant extract alkaloid arrow poisons originating from South and Central America. These poisons function by competitively and reversibly inhibiting the nicotinic acetylcholine receptor, which through a subtype of acetylcholine receptor found in the neuromuscular junction. Acetylcholine normally acts as a stimulant muscle contracture, hence competition to the neuromuscular junction by Curare prevents nerve impulses and activating skeletal muscle. The major outcome of that competitive activity is profound relaxation, comparable only to that of spinal anesthesia. So, That's how it works, I guess.
The more you know.
Good job, buddy.
Oh,
The
there's
more you
more.
know, right?
There's
Yeah,
more, but
yeah,
you know,
that's
at the same
right.
time, it basically is supposed. This is a method to paralyze the muscles.
Yes.
There you go. There's your educational moment.
And it's basically this is kind of also stuff that they would use in like old tribes to like put on like their blowgun darts. and
Yes,
stuff to
yeah,
keep,
yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong though, but didn't she say they were sedated with a cocktail of like amphetamines and LSD?
Yes, we're coming up. That's the
sorry.
part. Yeah. No, you're keeping
Jumping
right.
ahead.
I just thought of, because you said the more you know, I thought of, now you know. And knowing doesn't mean jack shit, because that still doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, it doesn't. Yes, but yeah, Chris, you're right. So she says this is what paralyzes them and I guess keeps them from moving or doing anything. But then she goes on to say that each patient is also fed a constant supply of barbiturates through one arm and then amphetamines and LSD through the other arm. And that this mix creates some kind of brain flush, which that's a high tech
Sounds
term.
like a fucking party to me.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then she goes on to say that some are also given electroshock, and while some are placed in sensory deprivation, all to break down the personality, which can then be replaced, which she calls transhumanism. Now that brings us to education moment number 2.
Oh boy.
All right.
Transhumanism is an international philosophical movement that advocates for the transformation of the human condition by developing and making widely available sophisticated technologies to greatly enhance human intellect and physiology. In other words, it's the belief or theory that the human race can evolve beyond its current physical and mental limitations, especially by means of science and technology. So basically, it's like the singularity or something like that. Humans, robots.
So kind of downloading yourself into a program.
You see this a lot in like movies, like there's one that Johnny Depp movie, Transcendence.
Lawnmower Man.
Lawnmower Man, the Matrix, Avatar, all those kind of things are basically transhumanism.
Short Circuit 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Johnny Five alive.
25 is alive, and don't you forget it.
When did this become an educational show?
I'm sorry, but I started. I remember when I was watching taking these notes, I was getting to the point where like I was so bored with this movie, and so I started grabbing on. Oh, that sounds more interesting than this movie. I'm gonna look that up. Oh, this is more interesting than this
Come
movie.
on, Marshall. We always do insults on this movie. Less learning, more burning.
So Wallace chimes in saying that mental illness is contagious, that it spreads via art, writings, and words. So again,
Sick people make sick people.
yeah. And
Yeah,
there
don't
is-
listen to people's art or music
The
or
social media.
Yeah, And there is no coincidence in the rise of social media and the rise of social violence. So next, the agents lay down on these beds.
Just before we
Okay.
comment on that, it was the rise of social media and social media, and then the only somewhat funny moment of this movie, the only thing that got like the minor little is when she says, and it's obviously you see like the sickness of the rise of social media, and they pan over to Agent Dude
Novak.
Agent
and
Dude.
he's playing on his phone, playing social media, and he goes, "What?" That's like the one moment I kind of went, and there's no other moment I like crack a smile that's intentionally supposed to be cracked.
No, I agree with you 100%. So the agents lay down on these beds, or Boone lays down on bed, Novak's in a chair, and they put on these really cheap-looking VR goggles. It's like they just took like a pair of like plastic shop goggles, like those plastic shop goggles, and just like glued like a circuit board
to it,
over the lens.
Why didn't they put
basically
it?
what these
It's
are.
like they just put circuit boards on top. It's like, why would you put a case on top of those circuit boards?
No, we don't have the budget for that.
Futuristic looking.
Yeah.
Circuit boards.
So, and now we get a really crappy CG VR tour of the Death House prison. And this is where, when I first saw this, it reminded me so much of the first Resident Evil movie, where they do like the Umbrella Labs, the high or underground.
Yes.
That's exactly what this is.
Yes.
Only it looks shittier in this than it did in
Yeah,
Resident
that was
Evil.
2002.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that was bad then.
Yeah.
This is even worse. So also the prison. By the way, the prison that's supposed to be the home of the Death House is actually the Holmesburg Prison in Philadelphia, which was built in 1895 and was in continuous use until 1995 when it closed. The interesting thing about that, though, is the Holmesburg Prison is famous, or I should say notorious, for being the site of many decades-long dermatological, pharmaceutical, and biochemical weapons research projects that involve testing on inmates. Today, only a renovated gym is used occasionally for inmate overflow from other nearby prisons.
So that's where they filmed it.
That's the prison you see above ground. That's where they filmed this. Is in that prison. But yeah, the death house is actually underground. But I found that interesting. So this person actually did like biochemical weapon research on inmates.
Less learning, more burning.
I find that's highly more interesting than this fucking movie. Anyway, so we learned the death house consists of 9 subterranean levels, each security level increasing as you go down further. Prisoners are confined in virtual reality prisons in their minds that recreate environments they were used to before their confinement, which to me seems like an ass backwards way of punishment because it might as well be like a permanent mental vacation, if you will. I mean, seriously, what the fuck? Like, if you're supposed to have the worst of the worst criminals here, right? And so they lock them up here for punishment, and why would you put them in like a coma-like state and then let them dream of their happy places the whole time? Like,
it's like Jason X, when Jason is virtually transferred to a scene where he's killing people over and over again. When these girls like, we're having sex and doing drugs, and he starts killing them. Yeah. It's like, it's that kind of environment they're creating for these prisoners.
Yeah, but
man, that was one of my favorite deaths too, because he stuffs him in a sleeping bag and then starts just blasting him between 2 trees.
You gave me so much shit on that episode for saying that was my favorite kill. Like, no, that does not kill because it was VR. It didn't count.
Oh yeah. It was still fun.
It was fun.
But the whole purpose is they're studying them, right? Like,
but I guess, but it's like if they're here for, I guess, they're more here for it to be studied. But like, if this is a prison, like, why not just program him like a actual like hellscape, like make him like in a mental hell that they can't escape from, instead of like letting them be in their happy place the whole time.
Right.
That's not really punishment. So now the AI computer takes Novak to some VR flashback now we see Novak undercover as like a terrorist, like an Al Qaeda or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like executing an American soldier.
He's like sawing his fucking head off.
Yeah, with like a bowie knife. He's like sawing this guy's head off. And then it shows Boone's advancement scenario, which was the scene we saw earlier where she shoots Kane, the woman and the kid with Kane Hodder. So what the fuck? So now Agent Novak, who's a government agent, was undercover as a terrorist murdering American soldiers
and gets rewarded for it.
Thank you. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what?
There was one line when she shot the woman and kid that Barbara Crampton said, "That's how you passed," or "That's why we chose
like,
you,
now you know why."
Far.
Yeah, like now you know why.
Like, I guess they're wanting them to do what can't be done by most agents.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. She does say that. So the AI goes back to the virtual tour, talking about the 9th and lowest level. The 9th level is only used to house what's called, quote unquote, the 5 evils, which are 5 supervillain level type prisoners. And I literally mean supervillain as in comic book villain with superpowers.
Yes.
Right. Literally. The first is Bill Moseley, who is an immortal Nazi who has the power of demographic chameleon, who's able to adapt multicultural vocal inflections. What? And was basically the head of Hitler's resurrection program.
Age unknown.
Right. Everybody's age is
That's
unknown.
what I was going to say. Age unknown for every single one. Because everyone, we don't know their
Impossible.
But he'd been
to
locked
determine.
up since the 40s. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Yeah.
He'd be at least in his 80s by now.
They're all immortal.
But he's I guess, basically. But they didn't allude that. They didn't allude that at all. They basically said he was around during Hitler's regime. Like, that guy would be fucking dust. They never alluded that.
I got it because all of them said, age unknown or unable cannot be determined. So I'm like, okay, they're fucking immortals, I guess.
Notice some of them had like regenerative properties.
Yes, thank you.
Wolverine.
That brings us to number 2, a woman named Balthoria, whose power is basically as is Wolverine, because she has super cellular regeneration and is basically a Countess Bathory because she loves bathing in blood, which I guess she thinks helps her keep young, even though she's fucking immortal and has cellular regeneration. Third is Alexei Nila, who played by Vernon Wells. He's another immortal who is a cannibal and necromancer. So I guess he has magical
He can
powers.
raise the dead, I suppose.
Yeah. Fourth is Crow, played by Michael Berryman. He's also another. Like I said, they're all fucking immortal. They're all of them. They say he has incalculable intelligence. He's the product of human mutation. and experimentation, and now possesses superhuman strength and intelligence. He also has enhanced cellular regeneration. So they didn't really go real, wide variety of superpowers. They're all this. There's like all
This is good that you're going through all this though, because it all flashed on the screen and then
it seemed like a big fucking deal.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's why like you think that, this is a big deal. This is important stuff. Fuck no.
It seemed like a big fucking deal because they go into each character, they show a little like splice of their history, and they show like a little cameo of them fighting people, or the one girl's bathing in blood, and it's visually cool. It's cool to look at, but it's like they're really hammering home these 5 evils. There's 5 evils. Right. They're immortal, or we don't know how they are. There's something about them, and then that's the impression they left on you.
Yeah, exactly. And then the 5th and last one is named Thiel, and you guessed it, he's also immortal. So they say his age is unknown.
He's
and
like
his
fire.
expertise is in the satanic arts and the crucifixion of his victims, along with turning his victims inside out. So that's
and you're thinking,
Thiel.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna see that later.
Right.
See some shit.
See some real shit, just setting it up, right? They're setting up big time. Let's just put that little softball right there on that tee for you.
Okay, we have
it right up.
we have the woman. We have the woman who's bathing blood. Okay, cool. We have the guy who's got superhuman strength. Okay, that he can do all kinds of stuff. We got a guy who turns people inside out. Ooh, goody!
And then you got that bat in your hand. You're taking your bat swing. You're about to hit that softball off that tee, and
lining
then
it up.
Zoop, they just pull the tee right away. Tee's just gone, ball and all.
Do you know who Vernon Wells is?
Yeah, he's
fucking Bennett from Commando,
Yeah.
which I did not know that watching the whole movie. Like,
Apparently he was in Inner Space too. I
Yes.
think he's
Okay.
the big dude that's always carrying around the.
Actually, I would say Vernon Wells, I think, did a pretty solid job with his part near the end. But
He's supposed to be a Russian guy though in this movie.
yeah,
isn't he?
he's supposed to be Russian. If you forget the fact that he has no Russian accent whatsoever.
No, he has a really sweet English accent.
Yeah, he does. Anyway, so now we suddenly jump back to Novak, who, again, is really, really shitty green screen VR setting. And he's standing in a wooded area, and in front of him is Sid Haig, sitting in one of those, like, fold-up camping tailgating chairs.
Yeah.
Just, like, chilling.
He's just chilling.
And to Sid's right is a crying blonde woman on her knees wearing only blue panties. Her arms are bound behind her back.
Titties out.
Yeah. To Sid's left is our friend and friend of the show, Kevin Caliber.
Kevin Caliber.
K-Cab.
K-Cab.
K-Cab, Mr. Superman himself. He's also on his knees, arms
Just
behind his
jacked
back.
to the tits.
Yeah, dude, I had this. I'm like, God damn, does Kevin look good in this movie? Like, his body's just sick. Like, he should, and he's so muscular. Like, he should be able to just rip right out of those binds. Like, he's like, I'm out of here.
And it's so funny because he's fucking dime piece, right?
Yeah.
He's a good looking guy. And the girl he got, kind of schlubby.
Yeah, like she's like,
Kind of saggy tits.
Yeah, and like just a little, like she's not battling, but she's like a little compared to next. Like, you put the chiseled Greek god that is Kevin Caliber. You have this. She doesn't look
You're
like
putting prime rib next to fucking hamburger.
like shoot up hamburger. So yeah,
And not even good hamburger like that.
Yeah.
70-30 shit. It's got all the fat.
So anyway, Sid talks to Novak, telling Novak that he's in Sid's cell thanks to technology. Mm-hmm. And the background continues to flicker with static. Sid pulls out 2 plastic-looking icicles from a cooler.
Yeah.
He's holding one in each hand and then stabs the woman and Kevin Caliber in the back of the neck, killing them both. So there goes Kevin Caliber, real quick.
Yeah.
Didn't have a single line, but damn, did he look good doing it.
You know what? This actually may have been a good career choice.
Yeah, you probably, just in and out, Kevin. You in and out.
Just dip your toe in that pool. Nah.
Nothing in this nothing in the movie. You can't be pinned to anything bad in this movie.
What movie was this dude in? You guys did?
We met him at the.
We met him at the very first Contamination.
And we just became buds with the guy. And
He's from St. Louis.
he's St. Louis native.
Yeah, he's from St. Louis. He was in a band called Disober. He's
a model. He does a lot of like novel models, like it's like romance novels. He's the guy on the cover.
Oh.
He does a lot of
Fitness
independent movies.
videos.
He's also in he's on Hulu's show Future Man, which is actually really good. If you haven't watched Future Man, I highly recommend. Season 1, he's in there. He plays the guy named Blaze. It's
Who is he?
funny.
in that? I like Future Man. Who is he?
He
in
was
that?
Blaze, one of the bros in season 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's supposed. I haven't
Yeah.
gotten this. I've started season 2, but I haven't gotten that far into it yet. But I believe he's in season 2 somewhere at some point. And then he's also in an award-winning Superman fan film.
Yeah,
so
an indie film. Yeah, but it's supposed
But
to
he's
be.
been Superman twice. He was Superman in
Yeah.
the fan film, and he was Superman in season 1 of
Supergirl.
CW's Supergirl.
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
Well,
but if you want another horror movies, and he was also in a horror movie called The Campus and Ugly Sweater Party.
Ugly Sweater Party. Yeah.
So anyway, Sid Haig kills them. They're dead. Where was I? Sid Haig rambles on, but everything again just so goddamn confusing.
Nonsense and convoluted.
It's nonsense. Yeah. All I know for sure is that Sid Haig asked for this moment when, as soon as he heard that
says
Novak
something
was
like
coming
that,
to the prison.
Novak's brother got accused of killing these two people, like in real life or some shit.
Yeah, it's like so. Yeah, like I don't know if I could.
So, do you guys know what these killings, what those were? Like, do you know they had Texas Chainsaw Massacre? They had this. That's the Zodiac killings. So, in the Zodiac killer who was never caught or whatever, I believe a couple times it would be at a park. It would be a couple. He would walk up to them and he would have a knife and he would make the guy tie up the girl tie up the guy.
Well, I knew. Yeah, I knew he
and then he
come
would
in the
stab
park
him in the back.
Okay.
So I immediately noticed Zodiac as soon as I saw that.
When you say that, I see why that would kind, but I don't know if they went that.
So I didn't know
far.
if they were hinting that the brother. And then the other thing I was going to ask you, which
The
you
brother.
guys
There's
might
no way
know.
the brother could be Zodiac because he would be. it'd
Well,
be way
Marshall,
too
everybody
young.
gets to live forever in this fucking.
Apparently, I guess the brother's
They want.
immortal too.
But then the other thing was like, so I guess now you just said he asked for it, but in the first one, didn't you mention Danny Trejo walked right by her and never saw her until she shot him?
Yeah.
How did they see each
Yeah,
other?
they were like having a conversation, sharing a beer almost.
It was
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it says like, oh, you're in my cell, I guess, because like you're mentally, they transport your consciousness into my VR world, and now we're talking. And I asked for this moment as soon as I heard you were coming to the death house, and I'm like, but then like, why would the prisoners know that secret agents are coming? Like, who's telling these people this? Like, why would they be privy to that information?
And
in the
to
first
your
place?
credit earlier, you're like, what the fuck is this? Like an oasis that they get to go to and make requests
Yeah,
and demands and
exactly.
murder and
There's
rape
no
and
punishment
do
to
what
do
they
whatever
want?
the fuck they want here. So, anyway, Sid Haig tells Novak, he talks about, souls and if they're real or not. And then he tells Novak that they have something special for him and the girl here. And then we go back to reality. Boone tells Wallace that there were video glitches in the system, and Wallace like, oh yeah, we've had some technical glitches, we know about it, no big deal.
That's the
Really,
excuse.
this is like the most high, like the
Right.
worst of the worst, the worst killers in the world. Your security system, like, oh, we've been having some minor, motherfucking, no big deal. You'd be shutting that shit down real quick.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like,
No
you'd be
bigs.
fixing this shit immediately. So Wallace then tells him to take a break, and we cut to some lone guard on patrol above ground, like walking the fence line. He's talking to somebody on his comms unit, and he finds a bloody, torn piece of cloth stuck to a barbed wire fence, and then he starts to hear sounds coming from a dumpster. This is fucking insane.
I did kind of like the fact that he's like, hey guys, I got something here. I got a bloody rag on the fence. Anybody? Hey. It's like he's not just going, whatever.
Yeah.
He's calling in for help.
Yeah, they did get that part
And
right.
he's walking over this dumpster.
Yeah, he goes over to check it out.
I know I'm nitpicking here, but this is like a high level security. Why is the dumpster on the outside of the fence?
Right.
And why is the
Actually,
trash
is it on the
not in
outside?
the dumpster?
Yeah, I don't know if it's on the outside of the fence or the inside of the fence, because you don't really know what side of the fence he's walking. I assume
assuming
it'd
he's
be.
walking the
Thrown
perimeter.
about, yeah.
I would
Yeah,
be assuming the dumpster's on the inside of the fence.
Yeah.
And he's walking the perimeter. But you're right. Why is the dumpster? Why is it just thrown about? It wouldn't just be
Yeah.
like there.
I was assuming he was outside walking the perimeter.
I think he was inside
Yeah.
the perimeter, but it doesn't matter. Who knows? But so he goes over to the dumpster to check it out.
So something like
and
we got skunks in the dumpster.
yeah.
I got skunks in the dumpster again. I'm like,
And listeners, Moon-goon buddies, I bet you can't guess what the fuck he finds in the dumpster, because he finds a fucking child wearing a Nazi officer hat.
Yeah.
A child wearing a Nazi officer's hat.
full SS gear.
Yeah, sing Heil, and it's just bullshit. It's what? And then to make it even crazier, the kid leaps out of the dumpster
Like
alone, which would be nearly impossible because it's not only does this kid leap straight up out of the dumpster, he leaps out of the dumpster onto the guard who he tackles to the ground. This little kid tackles a full-grown SWAT officer to the ground.
Fucking SS Spider Monkey.
Yeah.
Just leaps
That's
out.
his superpower.
Yeah, that's his superpower.
Spider Monkey abilities.
And the kid, who is now mounted on top of this guard in full like Kevlar outfit, pulls out a giant fucking Bowie knife from nowhere, stabs the guard through the Kevlar bulletproof vest, guts the guard, pulls out some of the guard's inner organs. The kid then pulls out some object that has like flashing red lights on it, sticks it into the guard's open gash wound on his stomach,
Puts
and
the
then
guts back
puts
on
the
top.
guts back in, like just kind of pats it down, like you're putting back your divot in golf or something. Like, let me pat that down. Let me put
Sure,
that
those
divot
guts
back.
were all covered in grass.
Yeah.
and stuff like dirt. Oh man.
And then the kid just gets up and disappears into the night. He's
Never to be seen again.
He did his job. That's all.
I was like, what the fuck? When I saw, like, what is happening? I'm laughing, so I can't believe what's going on here. So, fucking Terminator Ninja Kid's gone.
Terminator Ninja Kid.
We cut to Boone and Novak naked showering together, which is
Yeah.
also so fucking weird and makes zero sense.
This is ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
They have these two. They have this above shot, and it's
Yeah.
this guy taking a shower, and I'm like, okay, he's taking a shower, and they have this other shower head that's like inches away, so they're like shoulder to shoulder, male female,
And it's
like rubbing butts almost,
And
and,
it's
all they do is have a conversation about their shitty tattoos.
Yes, because like it would make sense. Like, they're not romantically involved, which that would make sense if they're for them to shower together. I mean, it's not like so. It's not sexy shower time. It's just two co-workers for some reason showering together.
And they never use soap.
They don't. It's right. There's no soap, no shampoo. They're just standing
They just
in
get
water.
wet. They just get wet.
Yes.
And
Talk
go
up-
on.
and they
I
talk
mean, I'm not
meaningless
complaining
bullshit.
because her body was banging.
Yeah,
That
she
was
looks great.
nice.
I mean, they both have
And,
fine bodies.
he
he looks-
must work out.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at him. but-
No, Courtney looks great. She looks absolutely great. But but the scene is just such nonsense.
Yeah, they talk about their tattoos.
Yes,
and they said, I don't remember ever getting these.
Yeah.
Or
and this
no,
scene goes on
it's-
for a long time.
It
asked
goes on
her-
forever. So
Forever.
He asked her if she remembers anybody from their class, or if
Yeah,
she
they
gets
talk-
deja vu when they come to this place and shit like that.
Well, they
So-
talk about the horrible things they had to do to get their honors request first. And then at this point, I wrote in my bit, well, like, what fucking branch of the government do these guys even work for? Because that's never even talked about, never mentioned, never discussed. And then they talk. Let's talk about the tattoos, because both of them have multiple tattoos, and none of them remembers how, when, or why they got them, or what they even mean.
But they said something to the effect of, I woke up one day and drew them. And I drew them, and I drew this tattoo.
No,
I don't
says,
remember.
drew
But
this,
then
but
they're
he's
like,
I don't
I don't
remember
remember
the
getting
tat-
them.
Yeah.
It's like they're already like fucking up the story right there, because they're talking about waking up, drawing them, or having
Well, see,
them.
I see what I
have.
got.
I have 11 birds, and they mean I don't know. I don't remember.
What I got was that he drew them first, and then he somehow woke up and they were tattooed on him. Like that's what I did. Not that he got tattooed and then drew them. I don't know. It doesn't. It
doesn't make any sense.
Nothing makes sense in this movie. Nothing.
Can I just bring up one point? And it's always Starship Troopers made me think this. This movie made me think this, and they've done this before. Like, obviously, actors have a sex scene, and you're like, man, how would you like be able to do that with a hot girl? And every actor will tell you, well, there's 1 million people on set, like so. I'm basically talking about like getting a hard on or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
But let's pretend that there is a world where you have to go shower with somebody as hot as that girl on a regular basis. You're immediately going to get hard just standing right next to her.
Yes.
So it's more like, how do superheroes take a shit? Like, when do they have time to take a shit? These are the questions that go through my mind. I was like, now, why would they ever have a world like that? That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, why? This
Yeah.
scene was so unnecessary.
It was
It's
weird too
incredibly
because
unnecessary.
when he asked her, like, do you remember anybody from the class, anything from Facebook? He brings up Facebook.
Yeah, he's like, I don't remember.
And she's
I
like,
don't know
is that your
anybody.
way of asking me if I'm single? I'm like, I don't think he
Yeah.
said anything like that.
No.
Like,
Yeah,
so
but
what the
she makes
fuck?
that jump.
Yeah.
She jumps to that conclusion. He's like, I wouldn't care if you were anyway.
Right.
But
But
he's
at that
like,
point, I was like, all right.
You can tell I'm not hard. I don't like it.
Yeah, but he's like, I don't remember anybody from class. I don't remember anyone before any of this. So, what the fuck's happening?
They seem very cool about not having a memory.
Exactly.
They
Like,
seem
they
very
don't seem concerned at all
okay
about it.
about this. I know if I woke up with a huge back piece of an upside down tree and birds on my back, I'd be a little pissed and confused, and I'd really want to know what's going on.
Right.
Like, who did this to me?
Especially you wake up and it's completely healed. Like, when the fuck did that get there?
How long have I been out?
Yeah.
So now we cut to Dr. Lloyd Kaufman about to perform surgery.
Yay!
He's about to perform surgery on the guard that got by the ninja Nazi kid. And then we instantly cut back to another narrated VR tour of Death House.
This Lloyd Kaufman whole thing, he just like, okay, what we got? All right.
He's,
I'm like,
he's Lloyd Kaufman just being Lloyd Kaufman.
He's a surgeon.
Yeah,
but they don't give him like he just comes up and goes, oh, what do we got? Oh, this kid looks like he's in bad shape. Cut away.
Yeah, and that's it.
And I'm like, well, that was 5 seconds.
Yeah, he hit all of Dr. Kaufman's. Jesus Christ. Lloyd Kaufman scenes are basically
Hey,
5
he
seconds.
sold the role to you,
Right, it,
motherfucker.
Dr. Kaufman. Yeah, all of his scenes are just like 5 seconds, little nibbles.
5 seconds.
And that drove me fucking bonkers.
drove me nuts too. I hated it because it jumped
Lloyd-
back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
And he chews the scenery. Whenever he's on in any of the movies we've done a lot of movies with Lloyd Kaufman in it. He commands your attention. He does a great job of bringing you into this crazy weird world he creates. And maybe he could do that here and try to, maybe bring you in a little bit. But they just chop his shit up so much.
I actually hated. Hated Lloyd Kaufman in this movie.
Well, I didn't hate. I thought
I don't think he had enough time on screen.
Well,
I agree.
Have a good,
They didn't give him a
Let's
chance.
literally dissect this. All right, yeah, he didn't have a
not getting
chance to do
anywhere
anything.
else.
But my thing is this: everybody else in this movie, regards even like Debbie Rochon, Felicia Rose, who've all had comedic roles in horror movies in the past or done some comedic stuff. Everybody in this movie is playing it serious. And then we get Lloyd Kaufman, who is notoriously never serious about anything. He's just Mr. Gag goofiness.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be a surgeon, and I'm like, he's obviously being Lloyd Kaufman. He's just being his wacky, goofy, oh, what's going on here? Almost incompetent surgeon thing. And even though it's just 5 seconds at a time, one reason I hate it is because of the editing. It's back and forth, back and forth. But I just didn't like the fact that he was so wacky, compared to everybody else in this movie. He's supposed to be a surgeon, trying to fix this garment. He shouldn't have been. I want him to be like, yes, it's Lloyd Kaufman. We can see it's Lloyd Kaufman. Yes, he's in the movie, but we don't need wacky Lloyd Kaufman. We just let him be a surgeon trying to save this guy.
What I thought was funny
That's
about
what I was saying.
that whole scene is that not once do they ever try to help the guy. It's like they're just standing there staring at it like, this guy's got a big hole in his gut. They don't ever once
But they don't even give enough time to develop it.
All he says is don't cut that shirt off because that's the only thing
You're
holding
him
them together.
Yeah.
Well, what do you...
But he does step back and go, scratching
a lot
his
of
head.
that.
The only thing, I didn't mind Lloyd Kaufman being a little wacky because I've met a lot of surgeons who are weird, who are kind of weirdos, and they're smart, they're brilliant people, but they're kind of there's a fine line between genius and insanity, and I think a surgeon is one of them. Right. But I didn't mind Lloyd Kaufman being a little wacky because he's fucking Lloyd Kaufman. He deserves to do that. But I just didn't like the fact that they just didn't give him enough to work with.
Yeah. There's some people in here just because they're horror icons, it's just because you have them in the movie, they might not as well not even be in this movie because if that's all they're
I don't
gonna
remember
give
Felicia
them,
Rose at all. I don't know where she's at.
She has one line, and most of the time she's in the background.
She's with that other girl that you said.
We haven't come to her yet.
Oh,
we haven't come to her yet. But we're coming up on her. Anyway, so
you're coming up on.
Anyway, so we instantly 5 seconds of Kaufman. We cut back to another narrated VR tour of the Death House. This is where we start getting the shitty CGI elevator shaft images, which we get a lot from here on out in this movie, and it's awful. Yeah.
Flashbacks to Creepazoids.
Yeah, it's really bad CGI here. It's like Zombies almost bad CGI.
Zombies.
In the VR world, Boone and Novak meet up with Barbara Crampton, who is standing in front of Kane Hodder, who is hooked up to his VR chair, machine, cell, whatever crap you want to call it.
It's like Total Recall in a way.
Yes, thank you. That's
very Total Recall chair. Yeah.
Crampton says that Hodder is going to be mind erased and reformatted with proper morals, compassion, and obedience to the law. This sparks a debate about morality, And who's to say what's wrong and what's right? And again, it's just this movie trying to be way more intellectual and more than it is, or more than it should be. It's nonsense. It doesn't need to be
is
there.
Is this the point too where like she's like this whole thing could be a VR like virtual reality? So she like leans in and kisses him. Almost,
no, but
like,
yeah, I think we're coming up on that one. That blew my mind. Oh, I take it back. Yes. All right. The machine hisses and the smoke comes out. The VR headset raises off Kane's head. Boone leans in close to his face, and I roll my for some fucking reason she kisses Kane Hodder on the lips, and I was like, "What? Why?"
It's almost like she's trying to find out if this is real.
I think there's better ways to find out if it's real than kissing the guy like you absolutely hate and made you murder a kid and a
How
child.
about punching him?
Yeah, you can just punch him in the face or punch him in the dick or
Well,
something
again,
like
they do
that.
a terrible. Like, obviously, she was following him or with him for an extended period of time.
Right.
So they don't really go into the backstory of them too. You know what I mean? She may have some sort of like father figure. Like,
You're looking way too into this.
Yeah,
I'm grasping at straws here, man. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck
I
is
was
going
so
on.
confused. Like, why the fuck would she be kissing him right now? But yeah. So we go back to the real
We're
world.
just not smart enough to get it, Mark.
Yeah, it's
I
over.
guess
Yeah, where Crampton introduces Boone and Novak to Dr. Bennett, who runs what he calls central casting, along with Dr. Freeman, who's played by Felicia Rose, and Dr. Harrison, who's played by Lauren Compton. Like I said, he makes her third appearance. We already talked about that. Anyway, Bennett explains to Boone and Novak what central casting is and what it does.
It's like a room full of people.
And basically, yeah, what I can gather from this is that they kidnap homeless people and lowlifes, and then they drug them and keep them in a waking comatose state, almost lobotomized state. With each person is then selected based on various attributes like height, weight, hair color, eye color, breast size, etc.
Even smell.
These people are then used to represent the victims of the various prisoners in hopes to accurately recreate prisoners' memories to get full accessibility to their personality profile.
Just hearing you read that
yeah,
makes me want to fucking barf.
Yes, exactly. But that's the shit this movie is filled
And
with.
it's filled with it.
Filled with it. So
Ugh.
basically,
They're essentially
these people
feeding
are
them.
mice being fed to snakes for the
Right,
most part.
Yeah.
And they're homeless people or
For study.
low lives. And goddamn, I've had some rough nights of pops coming home at like 6:30 in the morning. I'm just like crawling to my car, like passing out. If someone's like, "Hey man, $50 and I'll buy you breakfast," I'm like, okay. The next thing you know, I'd be in death house. What a bunch of assholes.
In a catatonic state, not even knowing what the fuck you're doing.
Getting my top ripped off, showing my titties.
I know, right? I didn't even see any dudes in that thing either. It was like all
There's a
women.
few dudes, but it's mostly women.
There's a few dudes, and then like a bunch of like pretty good looking chicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of homeless people are these?
Well, they talked about the makeup. They said we've got,
That's true, they did.
state-of-the-art makeup to make them look.
God damn it, Doug, you're
But
right.
then they're also like kidnapping children. Like it's not the kids' fault they're
Yeah.
homeless, but you're bringing them in so the special agent can shoot them to death.
Or the
And Dr.
prisoners
Bennett makes
can
a point
kill
of
them
saying
again.
we have a lamp girl.
Yeah, a nightstand girl.
Oh, a nightstand
Maybe
girl.
a nightstand girl.
And almost like referring to like
Like
the scene where she
she's a
killed
hairstylist
Jenny
or something.
Trejo or something. Like, see, didn't it look just like your mom's room or something like
Yeah,
that?
like all she does is decorate nightstands. recreate
Seriously?
this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, Bennett says that
Someone's got a budget.
yeah,
Jesus.
Bennett says that out there they all would have died anyway, but at least in here they get their 15 minutes, assuming that they live that long.
I wouldn't have died. I would have just had a great breakfast at a diner. Would have boot and rallied, baby.
Crampton tells Boone that the homeless woman used to represent Boone's mother in the VR honor request was picked because she resembled Trejo's victim type. So they explain some of that. Crampton then takes Boone and Novak to meet three people who she calls her little side project.
Ugh.
And we're now introduced to the three Satans. Not to confuse with the five evils, but the three Satans.
Now, this scene went on forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is the scene I see Brinky Stevens.
Where the fuck did you see
So,
her?
and when they're showing the three Satans, they're sitting in a room by themselves,
Yeah.
and the
Are you saying Brinks was somebody in the back? One of that
She was in
background?
the background.
Oh my
No
god!
she was one of the doctors in the background.
Jesus Christ! Okay, I didn't even know.
lame.
I noticed there was like two people in the background. Like
There's
behind
four.
The
There's
window,
four.
but
So they have Novak,
Boone and
Boone, and Dr.
Barbara Crampton.
Yeah, Barbara Crampton.
They're in the Satan's room.
And then they have 4 doctors in the background, and one of those is Brinky Stevens. I was like, is she going to do anything? Nope. She's just there for
just to be
the
there.
Fuck
What
of
a
it.
waste.
So one more name we then cram into the credits.
Exactly.
Didn't even notice that. So basically, these
Is
three.
she a Hall of Famer, Brinky Stevens?
No, but she was nominated.
She's
we didn't put her in
bordering on
yet,
it,
but
yeah.
we didn't put her. She should be. Maybe we'll do a Hall of Fame here next week or
Who's
something.
the other one that is in the other blonde from? She was also in Slimeball.
Lenora Quigley.
Lena Quigley.
Linnea Quigley. She's a Hall. We put her in.
Yes.
She's Hall of Fame.
Surprised she wasn't in this movie.
Yeah, that's a
Right?
good point.
Yeah.
She wasn't in
That's
this
a great
one.
point.
Maybe she had the wherewithal to be like, nope.
Or she could have been.
Maybe she was.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, no shit.
So these 3 prisoners all hold the same delusion that they're Satan. Number 1 is
creator.
called Satan. Number 2, another one is called Created Satan or Satan Creator, and the third one is called Son of Satan. Crampton offers the agents a chance to meet them, saying it will be fun, that she loves these guys, like they're a barrel of laughs or
They're a
something.
hoot.
So the following scene with the 3 Satans is just fucking weird, filled with cryptic dialogue. It doesn't make any sense. It goes on too long.
One of those Satans is in the Krampus movie that we hate.
One of them, Bill Oberst
Bill
Jr.
Oberst Jr.
Yeah,
That's
he's
it.
the third
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Or the first one, depending on how you want to look at it. But anyway, unless you guys have any more you want to say about this, I'm skipping over it because it's just
Good.
fucking boring.
Yeah,
Just skip it. Okay.
doesn't matter.
All right, we're skipping to Boone, Novak, and D. Wallace in the elevator going down. Wallace is talking more made-up psychological, intellectual bullshit, interspliced with shots of Lloyd Kaufman in surgery for another 3 seconds.
Again, little clips of Lloyd Kaufman
Yeah.
scratching his head. This is the one thing I didn't mention. This is the one thing I do hate about this surgery scene is everyone has masks on and they keep pulling it down.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
keep pulling the mask
And then
down.
rubbing their bloody fingers
I know,
everywhere.
just breathing all over this wound.
And Kaufman doesn't have a mask on all because they need to show his
He
face.
keeps
So it's
pulling
Lloyd
it down,
Kaufman.
put it on, pulling it down. It's like, fuck.
So
Yeah, again, they never do anything. They're not like rushing to like save this guy at
no,
all.
then Kaufman just like reaches a hand. He's like, "Oh, look at! I found something." Pulls this out. Pulls out this object that turns flashing red, and it turns out to be an EMP bomb that goes off the instant Lloyd Kaufman pulls it out. Basically, all the power goes out in the death house, and the emergency backups kick on.
So EMP, electric magnetic pulse.
Yep.
So it's supposed to knock out all the electricity
all electrical equipment
in the area. Now, I don't know anything about EMPs or EMP explosive devices. Do they
Okay.
actually explode, or they just send out a
No,
pulse?
it's a pulse. It's not. They don't actually explode like shrapnel. It's just it's a big magnetic pulse that just shoots out.
So
Yeah.
would that kill anybody?
Kind of like the Matrix.
I
remember?
don't
Was that
unless
the
you have
whole
like a
thing?
pacemaker, I think, or something.
Okay,
then
fair
I don't.
enough.
I don't
So-
think so. But
So
then
it
again, I
probably
don't know
would've
how
killed
close
Lloyd
the
Kaufman.
proximity. Like if you one went off like in your house and you weren't next to it, I think you'd be all right. But I can't say if you're like holding the thing in your hand, but I don't think so because it's just an electromagnetic pulse. So unless you're like a pacemaker or something like that, then I think you'd be fine.
Do you hear us talking right now?
Yeah, right? I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, Jesus. This fucking movie.
I know. This movie is what's done to us. This is what we've become. So the AI computer voice comes on the intercom saying the containment cells have been breached and that there's 60 minutes of auxiliary power. And we see guards scrambling on. And I'm
Mind you, we're like 45 minutes in the movie.
Yeah, but I think I'm like, fucking A, are you serious? In a maximum security high-tech prison, the power goes off and the first thing that happens is the cells are breached?
Yeah.
I'm thinking those would be hooked. The cells would be the one thing that's definitely hooked up to the backup so they don't get breached.
Right.
We're like, nope, fuck it. The cells are all open now.
This is also a place that's like, oh yeah, we got technical difficulties. Fuck it.
So the elevator comes to a stop, but then we get more shitty CGI of the camera flying up an elevator shaft, and we cut to Kane still sitting in his VR chair. A guard leans way too close into Kane's face, saying we need to get this piece of shit back to storage. The guard rips some wires off of Kane, like his UV tubing or whatever the fuck he's hooked up to. And now I'm not really sure what happens, but what we see are 2 blue glowing devices rise up from the arms of the machine, and then they fire off like some kind of
Like
fucking
harpoon?
harpoons attached to chains. Now these arrowheads shoot into somebody's
Stomach.
chest. right, like nipples, like
In
which
the
really makes it
caves.
like these machines just fire like nipple clamps at someone.
Well, they had showed like a almost like a diagram of it before, where like these cups.
They did.
If
Yeah.
they get,
Yeah, but it was a
then
CG.
shoots-
It was like a weird
I
computer
missed it.
graphic.
It essentially shoots into Kane Hodder's guts.
Okay.
So those little harpoons essentially will get caught in there. So if he tries to
break out.
it'll rip out his.
Yeah, so he's
All right. I missed the
He's hooked up to
diagram,
exactly
so-
what Chris said. It's like, so they showed before when Boone was kissing Kane, there was a scene where they had it was all computer graphics.
I totally missed that
where
part
they
then.
show these. It all was red lines going into his body, and it kind of hinted at this.
All right.
You know, basically, and yeah, it was just silly.
All right. So we just cut to two various doctors and staff scrambling around pushing various equipment in a hustle and a bustle. We go back to the elevator where Boone, Novak, and Wallace exchange some crappy dialogue. Boone wants to know if there is like an ultimate kill switch of this place that will just kill everybody in case of a doomsday scenario like this one. Wallace says they do have one, but they're trapped in the elevator for now, and we can't get to it. And don't worry too much because the prisoners will be looking for an escape and not looking for us. And we cut back to Kane being escorted by a group of armed guards to his cell. The two guards set him on his bed. They start to remove his restraints. And then all of a sudden, I guess Kane becomes like Magneto or something because the spiked nipple clamps come to life and they shoot out from Kane's body. Right into both guards' soft eye holes, killing them. So, like I said, Kane now has superpowers too.
I did love this because the harpoons shoot out into guard one's eye. Ah! Guard two's eye. Ah! And then they show them both just going, ah! Just wiggling around.
I feel bad for guard 2 because like guard 1 was like, "You're just gonna stand there. You're gonna come over and help me." Had he not gone over there and helped him, he never would have got the harpoon in the eye.
I don't know. Maybe he would because Kane's like Magneto powers. He could have shot those things across the room, or maybe like Yondu's magical flying arrow thing.
Yondu.
Wow.
There you go. So we go back to the elevator. Wallace tells Boone and Novak about the kill switch, that they have a 2-man rule to prevent any single person from activating the death gas, and that if the power is not restored within an hour, the commanding officer will order 2 officers to activate the gas. However, the 9th level is different, and that even though the gas reaches that far, it won't have any effect on the 5 evils.
So they're talking. Okay,
Because they're fucking immortal. That's why.
let's just talk about this gas.
All right,
thing.
let's talk about the
Because
gas.
I didn't understand. Because I didn't quite get it.
Okay.
Maybe you guys can help me.
I actually kind of understood this part. So
We'll
what
try.
So it seems as if there is, a containment. They can release this gas. This gas will kill everybody in there.
Mm-hmm.
The gas can only kill the people on the surface, like in the area, but it cannot go down.
No, it reaches down to the 9th level. It just won't have any effect on because they're immortal. That's basically what
they
it's saying.
say it gets there, but then they also say later that it turns you into some kind of weird cannibal. So I guess it kills everybody in the prison.
It doesn't. I didn't think they said turn him into a cannibal. It basically turns your body
Inside out?
Not inside, but it like shrivels up and dehydrates, and then basically you turn into a pile of ash or something like that. But yeah, it basically kills everybody. Like,
Everything was so weird.
everybody, like, even the innocent people, the guards, the staff, the fucking janitors, the cooking staff, whoever, everybody would just be dead. Like everyone.
Special delivery. Ah!
Yeah. The laundry dudes. Yeah, all of them. So now we get several shots of everyone just standing around looking at clocks, watching the time tick down.
I know.
Like that's in this movie. Like they waste a good minute or two of this movie just people looking at clocks in the dark doing absolutely nothing. Just standing there.
Like they're not arming up. They're not like cocking their guns.
No.
Like, okay, here comes guys. They're gonna get like they're just all just
or
sitting
they're not
there.
even in a panic trying to, oh my god, we got
Yeah.
power on, we got the gas. They're just standing like, huh?
They really had no plan for this scenario.
No,
Yeah,
I was like, they've never
they had
trained for
never
this, no
trained
plan
for this
for-
ever.
yeah.
So
ever.
apparently, when the clock strikes
Midnight or
whatever, because they didn't have a determined time,
they all just die.
So apparently, that's when the cells are supposed to open and the prisoners can come out, right?
No, the prisoners are already out.
Well, then what the fuck are we talking
They're
about?
standing around looking at the clock, waiting because they said that we have to. If the power doesn't come on in 1 hour, we turn on the gas. So they're basically standing watching the clock, hoping the power come back on before it hits that 1 hour mark, and they all die. That's what
But
I got
agree.
from
If
it.
they're already out, what the you got to kill them.
Yeah,
right?
well, kill them and it kills everybody. But yeah, you might as well just.
None of the staff has a gas mask.
Exactly. That's a great point.
Or like a tank.
Nobody. None of them. None of the guards, the staff member go and get like gas masks that you would think would protect the innocent staff members from the death gas.
Right.
Nope. It killed. They just like, fuck it. We're all dead, I guess. Sign that waiver when you sign on for this job that, in a case of emergency, you will die from
I get
gas.
$50,000 a year and potentially death. Sign me up.
No gas mask. That's a great order. That's fucking bullshit, man.
Damn, only 50 G's a year.
So,
Wonder how their benefits are.
They're great.
the commanding officer orders the gas to be released. So the two other officers then, go over to activate the switch to turn the gas on. They flip the switch, but the gas never comes out, and it is not released. The sounds of prisoners screaming are heard. The officers and guards start preparing for a fight. Screaming inmates begin pouring in from various doors. Many are armed with semi-automatic assault rifles, which where the fuck they got those from already? Who fucking knows?
This part of this movie drove me fucking crazy because it's so dark.
It is.
Yes.
You can't see shit.
From here
You
on out, the
cannot
movie
tell
is
what the
incredibly
fuck
dark.
And this is
going
how they
on.
saved money on their budget because the only lighting they have are fucking flashlights.
Yeah. That's I think that's a great point.
I'm like, what? I was watching.
What's
this movie.
happening?
I watched this movie this morning again. Like I watched it last night, or whatever. I watched it again today. And Sarah comes out. She's like, "Oh, can you see it better now?" I'm like, "Nope, nope. Still looks like shit."
So now we get a full blown riot scene breaks out. Guards, inmates are getting killed, left and right. But eventually the inmates get the upper hand.
And there's no cool death scene. This
No.
is like this is a moment where like you could be something like Poultrygeist or what a movie we just recently saw where it's like you can flash an individual death scene,
Yeah.
like quick, bam, 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 bam. Like
There is
like
one pretty cool death scene
Coming up, but
it's-
the riots. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's just people getting shot and
Perfect
or beat to
opportunity.
death,
A perfect opportunity, like you said, to show gore, show like some fucking crazy kills.
yeah,
show your death house.
yeah. Your
Right.
death house. Exactly.
Right.
You have the who's
It's right
who
there
of,
in the name.
of horror
Yeah,
icons.
it's just a prison riot.
Yeah,
like
it's just a
these
prison
aren't
riot.
people. Like you know what I mean. And what I thought whenever the cells open, you remember in Con Air when like the one that they're scared of so bad is Steve Buscemi. He's
Yeah.
like the worst serial killer ever. And that's true, but that's what I thought this prison would be. And then I was like, but those type of people wouldn't be scary in a riot. It was like they had nowhere to go with that
Right.
scene. There's nothing they could have
But
done.
they could have like shown guards getting their arms torn
Yes,
off, or
yeah,
someone
yeah.
getting their head ripped off, or like disemboweled,
I agree 100%. They could have done so much more of this, but it's just shoot, bang, bang,
beat.
beat with the stick. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's done. The inmates get the upper hand, and they pretty much destroy the guards fairly easily, which again, kind of bullshit, but it's what it is. Then a Kane appears on one of the upper catwalks, holding the severed head of a guard in each hand. Two.
Yeah.
He's like palming them like basketballs.
Right.
And he stands. He's like, "Listen to me!" He addresses the crowd like, "I'm the man." And then one of them just shoots Kane in the chest.
I love that part.
Yeah.
Kane just gets shot in the chest. He falls over the railing, crashes to the floor.
Kind of
below.
reminds me of that scene in, damn it, what was the movie with the gangs from back in the 80s?
Warriors.
Can you dig
Warriors.
it?
Warriors.
Yeah.
Can you dig
Can
it?
you dig it?
And then that dude gets shot,
Yeah.
killed right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah, a good reference.
I'm grasping at the straws. Again, I'm trying.
Come at him. Good job, Marshall.
So Kane shot. He falls to the floor, seemingly dead. In comes King Shit inmate. King Shit walks up to Kane's body, grabs the nipple clamp chains, and rips them off Kane's body. And when he does, not only does he rip the chains off, the chains which are still attached to Kane rip out like giant chunks of intestines.
chunks of his innards.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what it showed. Those harpoons
Yeah.
like, entered his guts.
Gut, yeah. So if he tries to escape,
Just
so he
gonna
just
disembowel
grabs him,
himself.
roosh, and
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a whole bunch of goop.
A lot of
and,
visceral.
yeah, he's like,
And
"Grrr."
this dude with this giant goatee is walking around like he's the cock of the wall.
Well, yeah,
and,
King
and
Shit.
everybody behind him is going, yeah. So he
So-
seems to be like the new fucking.
Well, I think he was the boss the whole time.
Yeah,
He was
well-
like king boss the whole time.
Right.
So King Shit turns, walks away, and that's when we see King stand up, like Jason or Michael might do like the little sit up and stand up.
He is Jason.
Yeah.
Truth.
He does his Jason stand up
Truth.
or sit up. Kane exhales, saying, anybody else want to try? Everyone looks at Kane in disbelief. Kane goes into a speech about how they all know what's at the bottom of this place and that the only way out is not up but down to them with me. Kane then turns his attention to King Shit. He walks up to King Shit, says, I'm new here. Isn't there some rule about taking on the biggest guy in the prison to send a message? With that, King punches King Shit in the throat, which drops King Shit to his knees. Kane then grabs King Shit's nose like you would like a little kid when you're doing the whole
It
I
was
got
like-
your
it was like
nose gag.
Eyes in the eye.
He puts his fingers in the soft eye
I thought he
hole.
grabbed him like a fucking bowling ball.
Did
He
I-
did exactly.
Okay, I missed
That's
it.
exactly
I thought
what
he was doing
happened.
like the whole "I got your
No.
nose" gag, like when, or like when Mr. Miyagi like goes up to like a crease and like and after he's like honk, you know.
No, I thought he did like the six-pack
did.
grab with two eyes.
Okay,
He
I
did.
missed
fingers
okay.
through the eyes and
that
one in the
makes more
mouth.
sense. Look, so he
That's
boy
exactly
balled.
what happened, yeah.
Fingers in the eyes, thumb in the mouth. Then that makes more
Yep.
sense. And then he rips off. He just pulls back and rips off King Shit's face. And not just his face, but like the whole
skull
front of
and
his
everything,
skull
yeah.
is gone.
His bottom
awesome.
jaw still remains,
Yeah.
and like
It's just this giant crater of his skull. is
it's
just
pretty
gone.
intense.
Fucking
like,
awesome. That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
That's
Why
what
wasn't
we-
there more of
yeah,
that shit?
That's the
Yes.
shit we want more of in this
And I'm
movie.
like, all right, yeah, good.
And then
that's
King
pretty much all
Shit's
you're gonna
buddy
get.
turns around and says,
Goes,
"I'd follow you
Yeah,
to hell."
man. Yeah, I
Yeah.
follow you to hell, man.
Yeah.
He's like, good, because that's where we're going.
Right. It's awesome. Where was more of that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what this movie needs, and that's all you're gonna get. We go.
We get a taste.
We get a taste. Like I said, it sets that tee up for you and just kind of pulls it right back. Back to the elevator. Novak gets the hatch open. He helps Boone and Wallace up out of the elevator. They hear distant explosions, followed by screaming, followed by gunshots. Novak starts to climb up the elevator cables, which I don't think would be possible because I'm pretty sure those things are covered in like grease or something to help them from
Thought the
getting
same thing.
stuck in the pulley systems. I could be wrong. I'm not an elevator engineer, but you know, whatever. I don't know. What are you guys doing? You're pointing at me. Okay, I don't know what you. There's something wrong with the.
We're good.
We're good. All right. Something. I don't know. They're giving me weird hand signals. Like we're SEAL Team 6 over here or something. I don't know. Anyway, where was I?
He climbs up the elevator.
Yeah, he makes it to the fourth level elevator
over here,
door
like-
and pries it open. But there's an inmate just seemingly waiting for him on the other side. He just happens to be there. The inmate grabs Novak, tosses him to the floor,
Yeah,
picks
here-
Novak up
here's
by the
Johnny
neck.
kind of a reference.
Yes, he does. Thank you. Pulls him up against the wall, and and this inmate is like super rapey. He's like, "I'm gonna fuck you and get your pants off. You're
He's
gonna be my
got SS
bitch."
tattoos all over his face too.
Did he? I missed that. 'Cause
Yeah.
It was so dark. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
So I guess more
'Cause
Nazi.
all it is
shit.
is lit up by one
Just
flashlight.
one flashlight.
He
Yeah,
was very excited to rape this show.
he was super
He was
excited.
really pumped to
I've
rape.
never seen. He was into it. He was
I
all
haven't seen
aboard for
someone
rape.
that
Yeah.
excited to rape ever.
And like maybe I would get if it was like Boone, like a woman, like a woman, yeah. But no, he was all about getting that man ass.
Smelling him, he's like, "Oh, is that lavender? Oh, you smell so good." Like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Just really into rape.
So basically, they fight, they struggle. Novak
Have you
fights
guys
back.
met Rapey Kyle?
Oh, I got a bunk with rapey Kyle.
The two fight back, and Novak ends up monkey flipping the inmate down the elevator shaft. He's dead. We cut the
Well,
Boone.
he falls onto the elevator, and then she
Yeah, he
Fucking
hits
kicks him off
the
the
elevator,
side. Yeah.
and then she kicks him off the side. I don't know how elevator shafts work. I
No.
don't think there's much room.
Boom!
not.
Yeah, there's not.
It's like it's filled up. The shaft should be filled up
Yeah,
totally.
there's not enough
With
space
an
between the
elevator.
elevator and the wall.
I've
If there's
been
that
in-
much of
yeah.
a gap with those elevators door open, there'd be like a 4-foot gap between the door and the elevator. You have to like hop across to get on.
Yeah, just so you know, that's not the way it works. I've been in plenty of elevator shafts. It does not work that way.
So now we cut to Boone, Novak, and Wallace in one of the corridors filled with dead inmates and guards. They search the bodies for guns.
One thing I just wanted to cut in here. So when they had Novak crawling up that elevator shaft, like you said, it'd be impossible. It's greasy. Did you notice where they like zoomed in on his arm strength, like he was
Yes,
clinging
thank you.
to the pipe, like he was literally holding on impossibly to this pipe with this grip.
So
and
he's holding on
crawling
to
up.
the rope in one hand and then this pipe with the other, and I'm thinking, man, this dude's got some serious forearm
Yes,
strength.
yeah, and then he moves from the rope over to that. The only reason I bring that up is because you just said so he defeats the guy, and then it just cuts to the girls, the one lady being 60-something years old, and she's with him in the corridor.
Yeah.
There's no rope.
Yeah, there's no way
So
D.
she
Walls is
also
climbing.
climbed up that pipe. Like,
That's a great point.
That's a great point.
Because they spent a long time showing his muscles and his grip and the struggle to
it's
get
the
up
worst.
there.
Yeah.
And then these two gals like, boop, 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 boop.
Oh, God, I know.
So yeah, they search the bodies for guns and flashlights.
Ridiculous.
Boone realizes that they forgot to close the elevator shaft behind them. So all three of them just start take off running down the hallway as inmates begin leaping out from fucking nowhere trying to grab him like it's a fucking haunted
I
house.
don't
Like, you're
understand
like,
why was the reference to the elevator?
Exactly.
Dude, I guess to them, the inmates were going to come up the elevator shaft after them, behind them. But the inmates that were leaping out of them were coming from the side.
Exactly.
Like, they're already there.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, there's nobody coming up the shaft behind them.
No.
They're just already there.
Right. God damn it.
I know.
Doesn't make any
And up
sense.
the shaft, there's an elevator in the way. Like, you're not
Yes.
going to get to the bottom of the elevator.
There's
and
no
go
hatch on the bottom. I'll throw the top. Yeah. It's not like the elevator was stopped like on the floor with the door open so you could go into the elevator, up the hatch, and then climb up. It was like in
No,
between
yeah.
floors.
Right.
Yeah, it's nonsense. Where was I? They make it to like this gated security door area. They turn open fire on the charging inmates. They kill a few of them.
Was this before or after they walked down the hallway full of body parts?
They just did that.
Okay.
From the darkness.
Didn't we see a black chick eating some?
No, that's coming up.
Thank God.
Oh, actually, that might have been this one. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I think-
then from the darkness comes Kane's voice telling him, like, listen to me. And that's it. We just cut away. They don't listen to him. They
Well,
don't
he
stop.
said that earlier, too. He says that like 4 times in the movie.
He does.
Listen to
That's
me.
like his cliche.
Listen.
That's his catchphrase. Listen to
Yeah.
me. But the movie just cuts to the three of them now wandering down another dark hallway filled with blood, entrails, and body parts. They come to a room with a near naked woman eating a corpse.
Yeah, it's like
which
this.
they
It's like
just
this
ignore.
disco black chick with like a short, like silver miniskirt. She looks like she should be roller skating in the 70s. Like snapping her fingers, like having a great time, and she's got no top on.
No
And
top.
you just see this big fro, and she's just eating somebody.
And they just ignore her.
And they
Like,
just
whatever.
ignore her.
It's like, "Well, leave her be.
I'm
She's
like,
fine."
that chick looks cool. What does she got to do? Nope. Who cares? We're leaving her.
They don't. Yeah,
Never comes.
there's-
Never to be seen
never-
again.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So now they come to what looks like a door to a large walk-in freezer.
Yes.
And they open it up, go inside. Wallace tells him to keep the lights low and stay by the door, that she knows this cell.
Mm-hmm.
A whisper in the dark says, "We no longer wish to be here," to which Wallace replies, "Don't come closer or I'll take you out of here." But isn't that what the voice just said it wanted?
No, it
Like,
says
what kind
something
of
like,
threat
oh,
is that?
we
No.
no longer wish to be freed.
They said free. We no longer wish to be free.
Right.
They do not
Yeah.
want to be freed. They don't want out of there.
I thought he said, "We don't want to be. We no longer wish to
No.
be freed."
No,
Like,
no.
okay.
Yeah, they don't want to be free. They don't want to be freed.
Right.
All right,
Thank you,
I
Doug.
totally misunderstood that gig, but okay. Thank you for
It
clearing
was
that
pretty self-explanatory, like the whole movie, Marshall.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
How did
come
I miss
on,
that?
God. You can't follow this movie, Marshall? Jeez.
So Wallace tells Boone and Novak that there should be 9 of them. Novak's like, 9 of what? Wallace says, prisoners and homeless. We have yet to explain what happened here. Novak says, fuck that, and he presses into the room. He shines his flashlight, and we come to like this deformed, blood and goo covered human-like thing that for some reason is screaming into a microphone.
Dude, like an
Which
old
is-
timey boxing ring
Yeah,
microphone.
it's like Michael
dropping
Buffer is
down.
gonna come down and like, are you ready?
Are you ready to rumble?
What is this?
Like, why is this thing screaming into a
And
microphone?
then it's like,
Yeah.
we'll talk somehow with no lips. And
No
it's just,
lips.
He just going, we don't want to be free. Wow! And just scream randomly. They look fucking scary.
Yeah.
They look fucking
They
terrifying.
were
Because
cool
like they
looking. That
lost
was
their
a
sense.
cool
They're-
visual part.
yeah, it's the best. Yeah, because like these new things are. they look like they're kind of skinless things that were freshly birthed. Like they're
Right.
covered in goo, like you're just birthed from. But there's
Viscera and goon.
but they have like no. There's like
No
a
lips,
jaw, but there's
no.
no like skin around the mouth. So like
Teeth,
their
but yeah.
teeth are kind of protruding. And they're bald, and their eyes are either missing or bulging out at the same time. Somehow I couldn't tell what was going on with the eyes.
Are these the victims of one of the 5 evils who has the capabilities of turning their victims inside out?
You know, that would make sense, but they didn't say anything like that, and I
No,
don't
they
think
didn't.
so.
It would behoove the story to say
Right.
these are the victims of one of the 5 evils, and through deductive reasoning, we could say, oh, the ones who turn them inside out.
Huh. That's a good
Unfortunately,
point.
they never did that.
No, we have no
There's-
explanation. You never get any explanation of what the fuck these
Like
things
Chris
are.
said earlier, I'm grasping at straws.
There's an old, like, this reminded me of something. And do you guys remember hearing, like, there's a fake, you probably know it, Aaron, but like Russian experiments or something where they locked all these people in a room to see how long they'd last, and they got so skin and bone and kind of turned into cannibals, and they lasted way longer than they ever should have. They talk about that during like the Holocaust. There's all these rumors.
no.
I didn't know if they were referencing that. That's been in horror comics before. That you walk into the room and it's all these people that are skin and bone. And
I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, but they had like weird bodies in there, and like it looked like a horse or a
Yeah,
cow.
they're
Look
like
at
eating
horse
dead.
leg.
They're like
Yeah.
eating
Yeah.
dead animals, and then like one of them eats like a dead alien baby.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck was that thing? It just like scooped
It's like
up.
eats
learning that
E.T.
It's the weirdest looking thing. It's like what
T.
the
Wallace, get in there and help out E.T.
Exactly. Shit. That's hilarious.
So, again, this point, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? I have no clue. And so, anyway, Boone asks Wallace how these things are still alive. Wallace says, we don't know, but they're staying here. But they're like, we're going to stay here until the inmates out there lose interest in us. So we're just going to hang out in here with these fucking cannibal monsters. Great idea.
Sure.
Well, I
Great
mean,
idea.
it seemed like a safe place. It wasn't like they were trying to attack him or anything.
Now, I guess because they were still occupied with the dead cow carcass and alien babies.
They're eating E.T. and hanging out eating fucking Mr. Ed. You know?
So we cut to Kane leading his inmate army through the prison. Kane finds Barbara Crampton hiding behind like a, I don't know, chest or finds her cowering somewhere. He takes her to the 3 Satan's cell where he gives Satan 2 his mask back, which is a cheap plastic looking thing that has drew a marker on it.
It kind of reminded me of, what was the story of Leslie Vernon? Wasn't it Leslie Vernon was the
The copy documentary.
the
Yeah,
mask
the
of
mask.
Leslie Vernon? It was
yeah.
kind of borrowed from that, but at the same time also looked a little like opera-y or like
No,
something you'd use
not
in a-
I
not
was
opera,
opera.
but it's not fan of the opera, but just something you'd use maybe in a masquerade.
No,
party or
masquerade
something.
masks are much fancier, and this is like just one of those cheap, like plain plastic masks you would get. Just
More like Vega, maybe from Street Fighter.
yeah,
I don't
more like
know.
a Vega that just painted gray and then put like some purple marker like lines on.
Did
or
anybody else
something.
get a Leslie Vernon thing?
I didn't think, but now that you say it, I see it. I
Yeah.
get it. But at the time, I didn't think about that.
But they did say that one was the. So I thought, and this would have been cool when he gave him the mask if he would have just disappeared. Because you remember Barbara Crampton earlier said, we still haven't been able to figure out how he did all those kills and got into all those places. So I thought it was the mask. When he gets this mask, it turns out the mask was like from the dollar store. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, no shit.
it really is.
totally shitty.
Much like your boom.
yeah, my
My
microphone over
the
here.
pop
I got
filter.
shit falling apart over here.
Yeah, Doug got the shitty pop filter for today, guys.
Yeah, he's got the shitty pop filter, no headphones, man.
I'm doing all right.
You got the good intro though.
Yeah.
It makes up for it.
Yeah.
So where were we? So yeah, Kane gives Satan 2 his mask, and Satan 2 walks out of the cell and leaves, while Satan 1 and 3 close in on Crampton, who's cowering and screaming in the corner, and we just blackout cut
She
away.
does an awesome scream though.
Yeah, that's her
She is a
scream
scream
queen.
queen.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you beat me to it.
Yeah.
We cut to Boone.
He owed me a Coke and a hand job. I mean, a quarter. A quarter. I meant to say quarter.
Trying to throw you guys softballs here.
we cut to Boone, Novak, and Wallace fleeing the slimy mutant room now because all of a sudden, like, oh my god, we're going to stay here and save. Oh my god, run away now!
Yeah,
It's like,
they
what?
take 2 steps towards them. They're just like, ooh. They like take 1 step, and one's like slithering around the floor. And they're like, we're out of here. They didn't even shoot a gun. They have guns.
Yeah.
They didn't go bang, bang.
Yeah,
and
that
it was
was
like, nope, we're out.
We're out.
I can only imagine what the smell inside that place was.
Oh,
So
God,
I probably
yeah.
want to get the fuck out of there too.
Yeah. So followed by, and then we get a quick shot of Kane opening a door for Satan 2, telling him to earn his mask, even though he already gave it to him. Then right back to the heroes, basically panting and catching their breath in a very, very large warehouse-like room. This room is filled... I hate this fucking scene so much. This room is filled with dozens upon dozens of dead bodies hanging, dangling from chains from the ceiling.
In like white bags.
Like plastic bags or something like that. And these things, I don't even, they're like 10 to 20 feet off the ground.
Right.
It's a giant fucking room. And so our three heroes hear the sound of the echoing sound of a door opening and people coming. So they scramble. We see them scramble off. We see them scramble. And then we see Kane and his large group of inmates enter with 2 or 3 staff members in lab coats that they've captured. The staff members are forced down to their knees. Kane orders his followers to hook them up so they can string them up by hand because the powers that will string them up by hand. So the inmates shoot chains into the staff members' back somehow. Like, I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, they didn't just whack them with the hook.
I missed it because it looked like they just came shooting out of a cannon or something. And at this time, guys, you might be wondering where our 3 heroes are, listeners at home. Where are they? Well, they're all hanging in the ceiling from a dead body above Kane and his army.
Super forearm
Yes.
strength.
Special
all
Agent
3 of them.
Novak, Special Agent Boone,
and
maybe,
D
who knows?
fucking Wallace.
And then fucking 70-year-old D. Wallace.
I see it. All of them are clinging to a chained dead body high above the floor.
Separate dead bodies.
Separate.
Not
All
the
of them
same
was
dead body.
yeah. And I'm like, how the fuck did they even get up there? Because they were like, are we?
There's
supposed to
no
be-
explanation.
Are we supposed to be that all 3 of them just like jump 10 feet plus a vertical jump into the air?
Well,
to
we
grab
know
these
the
things?
girls can do that from the elevator scene.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
True.
Because there's no ladders, there's no stairs, there's no scaffolding,
So
nothing's shown.
Novak held on to D. Wallace's back as she jumped
jumped
up. And that's why she was a little extra tired.
It'd be fucked up that there's like a 10-foot ladder just out there in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Where'd this ladder come from?
I mean, it's easy 10 to 20 feet off the ground. These bodies are hanging. It's fucking. These guys should be playing for the NBA if that's the case. And it's ridiculous. Wallace is showing at this point. It goes back and forth between Kane and Wallace and Kane and the others and blah blah blah. Wallace is showing starting to get visibly tired. She's struggling to hold on. Novak tries to reach out for her.
So he's holding on with one arm,
Which one? Yes.
20 feet up in the ground. And what's his plan there?
Yeah, what's
He's
he gonna
gonna
do?
reach out and grab her.
So
and,
he's gonna hold on with her with one hand, dangle her above the ground while he
Yeah.
hangs onto a dead body with the other.
Right.
Like,
I'm gonna make this harder for me.
like what is this? Yeah, what's his end game
That's
here?
a good point. What's his end game here?
Or is he gonna like grab her and like swing her over to another dead body, or like what's he gonna do? Like,
there's only like 20 people at least on the
and
floor.
on the floor
Yeah.
behind him. Yeah. So due to her struggling, she's making some noises. And she's trying to maintain her grip on the corpse. She makes some noises that give her away. Right as Wallace is about to grab Novak's hand, one of the inmates shoots her in the back. Wallace falls screaming to the floor below, and oh my god, this falling shot to me is fucking ridiculous. I had flashbacks of like the opening scene from Cliffhanger at this point. Because, I mean, first off, it's shot from above. So you see her falling towards the floor from above. So, first of all, that means the background should be the floor. But apparently they're so high up, you can't even see the floor.
It's like a mist.
It's just the room is suddenly filled with a fog or a mist. That's all you see. So she falls dramatically and slowly through this mist, apparently, onto the floor. And they try so hard to make it look so dramatic. Right. It's beyond reason. Like, what the fuck is happening? It's insane. So the inmates stand around her dead body. One of them asks Kane, like, hey, what should we do about the others?
This is the thing that also pisses me off is they start showing flashlights up there. They see everyone.
Yeah,
There's
they
Flashlights all over Novak.
Yeah.
all over Novak and Boone.
They're literally like basically sitting duck at this point.
Yeah.
They're like, well, all right, we're screwed. But Kane's like, fuck them. Let him, no, fuck him. Who cares? Let him go. Well, we got other stuff to do. And they just all turn and leave.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, and they leave with.
oh, and this is where
So they never string up the original girl.
No,
they didn't string
don't
him
do
up.
anything. Yeah.
when they turn to leave, everybody suddenly turns into fucking William Wallace because they all shout freedom.
Followed by a girl going,
Right.
who is like this. All of a sudden, there's this Harley Quinn.
Yes, it's like a bad Harley Quinn.
A Harley Quinn as character. All of a sudden, it's the one female inmate that I
The
can.
only female
The
inmate.
only. She's got the fucking pigtails.
Well, I guess if you can, Leatherlace would have been an inmate, but we never see her again after
No.
that footage. She's never seen again.
Deborah Roshan's never seen again.
Nope.
Yeah. But she's got her face painted like a clown. It's very clown. But she's definitely a nod to Harley Quinn.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
exactly what I got to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Harley Quinn knockoff.
Actually, I did see her back when during the riot.
Yeah, she's around here and there. Like she's actually
you see her
she's
twice.
more
There's a riot scene, I
prominent
know what you're
than
talking about, where she makes one appearance in the riot scene, and then this scene, and then
and a few others.
And she's even running around with a bat. So
Yeah.
it's like
I think at the
definitely a-
very end
Yeah.
when they're in the hall, she's
She's
showed
more
again, but
prominent than Debbie Roshan,
Lloyd
Brinky
Kaufman,
Stevens,
Brinky
Lloyd
Ste-
Kaufman.
yeah.
Yeah. Fuck
Yeah.
that shit.
So the inmate army leaves, and as soon as they do, they as soon as they turn their back to D-Wall, we see D-Wall start breathing. She's still alive. Novak and Boone, I guess, just drop down because
That's what they do. They just drop
drop.
down like
Again,
20
like I said,
feet.
just like 20 feet. Their ankles would be fucked.
We got this.
Yeah, they just levitate their
drop and
asses
roll.
down, I guess. They rush over to her, and Boone's like, "Where's the kill switch? Tell us about the kill switch." And Wallace just says, "Ask them," and then she dies.
Yeah.
So she can't even say, "Oh, it's here." She has some cryptic bullshit about asking them. Really, really, guys?
Because she does. Boone goes, "Who? I really wish she just would have been like." Like slowly extend the
And
middle,
giving a finger.
slowly extend the middle finger, going "fuck you." Figure it out.
Well, there was one weird line right before that too, when both the agents are hanging there, and they said one of them said something to the effect like, what do we do? And they're like, well, we got to check on her. Like what? Like I think the girl said we got it because they heard her breathe,
Yeah.
or whatever. But I'm like, so if you weren't gonna check on her,
I
were
think the
you
girl was one just like she's gone.
Were you just gonna
Yeah,
hang there
yeah.
forever?
Novak was
what
like,
were-
"We gotta check on her."
Yeah, what were you gonna do though if you didn't check on her? Just hang there? Like
Right.
just stay there?
Yeah, who fucking knows?
Mad forearm skills.
So now
Rip strength.
we cut to Kane and his crew walking down another dark corridor, and we see what I can only describe as like black stick figures dashing across the hallway.
Yeah.
So now we have like mystery, paranormal, ghost-like things
Creepy
dashing
doors.
around in here too.
Here's one thing I will note about this scene is that the music all of a sudden gets really good. It seemed like the music got very John Carpenter-esque. It's like very keyboard synthesizer-y. And whenever something would skitter across, it'd be like, pew! It kind of reminded me of It or probably not It. The Thing. The Thing, 1982. It also reminded me of Escape from New York. It reminded me of a lot of John Carpenter movies.
It does, 'cause
So-
I guess I didn't pay much attention to it at this point because I was just so like
Over it.
yeah, I was.
But
done.
I remember going, oh, the music's okay here. The music's getting kind of interesting. I'm kind of digging the music.
So we jump back to Boone Novak, who now have gone from hanging from dead corpses in the ceiling to now hanging from an elevator cable. This scene is probably the scene that angers me the most in this movie. It comes up. I hate this fucking scene. Boone says that they're opening the side doors. So Nova comes up with the genius plan of a free fall, drop, and shoot.
Oh, God.
So now, what is about to happen? What follows just may be, like I said, the dumbest scene I've ever in all the movies. Definitely the movie in this movie by far. It's fucking retarded. Both agents they're hanging from the cable with one hand, pull out a gun. They're going with the other hand while still holding the cable. They then slide
he
all
actually
the
says-
way down the elevator.
She asked what the plan is. He's like, drop and shoot.
Yes.
So you're going to hold on to the cable. Let's
Is
just,
your hand wrapped?
right.
Yeah, is your hand wrapped? They do have like a white cloth, like a little piece, one little thing of white cloth around their hand. But yeah.
So you're going to drop all the way down a mile into the ground, shooting at what?
Exact. That's what Oh,
And remember when I said I liked the music before? That's all of a
the
sudden,
movie. Everything about this scene, we all hate.
they just kick down the door, crank up the hate breed.
Cue the butt rock. Okay, they're sliding down an elevator cable a mile down into the earth, one fucking handed, while just blindly firing their guns at the walls, and not like I said, not. Little shit, and like the bow on top of this shit is the fucking butt rock that kicks in.
They're crossing each other's arms, shooting.
Yeah,
What's the worst is like when they get out there on the cables, like they're supposed to be dangling there, but their hands are like right in front of their face.
Yeah,
and they're just like pulling their guns out.
Like,
You're not hanging
No.
from shit.
No, the arms should
You're
be
not
fully
hanging
extended.
from shit.
Yeah. So they're as they slide down,
Where's the
shooting.
fucking elevator?
Exactly.
When you run into the goddamn elevator?
Well, eventually, yeah. Personally, the elevator was on the 4th floor because they climbed up to the 4th floor.
Right.
So this has to be a completely different elevator shaft now, or the elevator just fell to the bottom.
So just because they have their hand wrapped, they can fall, free fall.
Basically, free fall.
9 stories.
A mile.
A mile down.
Which
And
is 9
and then
stories.
I'll just slowly grip and slow
And
myself
slowly-
down.
yeah.
Just slow-
How are you gonna stop?
You slowly grip.
Oh, okay.
So
That
as
was the
they-
most.
My bad.
That was the most ridiculous, insane
Jesus.
part of the movie. I'm like, I thought,
It's so bad, and interspliced between them sliding down and shooting, what we see is this random shots of inmates running around and some more rioting.
Fucking cables are attached to the top of the elevator.
Yeah.
You would eventually smack into the goddamn elevator
Yes,
before
you
you
would.
hit the ground.
Exactly. Oh, and by the way, I counted 47 shots fired during this bullshit commando slide.
I knew you would.
And I'm sure I missed a few. So let's
Because
make
I thought to
50
myself,
plus.
how many shots did it let go? How could they reload their guns?
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if Marshall counted. Because you count everything. And you did.
I did, because that's my point. 50 plus shots at least are fired, and they don't reload once.
They get
Not
roughly
once.
what 15 to 16 shots in that gun, maybe.
Yeah, and most of those clips are about a 12 rounder, maybe a 14 depending on the caliber and the gun, but
Right.
it's
Even with an extended clip, isn't that 20?
yeah, like they don't have extended clips.
No, they don't.
No, so yeah, so like I said, we've all seen the movies with the bottomless clips that never run out, but this is just fucking egregious, man.
This is just ludicrous considering
How
they're.
can you reload when you only have...
Oh no! Here's what they do: they would then let go with their other hand and just slide, holding on with their legs wrapped around the cable, just by their legs, and then slide.
You nailed it, buddy.
man.
Nailed it.
They would just have to use their legs to hold on to the cable
you
and
got
slide
it.
down.
You got it. Yeah.
So
They have extra stitching in the crotch.
and then what make they have like leather inside the legs, the inseam. But what makes it even more fucking retarded is that all they seem to be doing is shooting the fucking walls of the elevator shaft.
Right.
They're not shooting at anything. We've never seen any inmates opening elevator doors trying to reach them. We don't see any inmates getting shot and killed. These just two fuckers are just sliding down one-handed, shooting at concrete and steel walls and mixing with bad CGI and horrible butt rock. That's it.
They cut away to like inmates doing something, but it's not.
It's not being shot
No,
at. No, it's
no.
like them just running around rioting.
It's
Dry
so
humping things,
weird,
yeah.
Breaking tiles over there, humping somebody. And it's the worst thing in this whole movie. And then the next time we see Novak and Boone, it's not coming to a stop at the bottom elevator. It's not anything. They're just in a caged area, there's a jail cell barred off area. That what?
They seem so cool about
And
it.
they're not exhausted. Like, oh my god, my hand, or it's like they should be on top of an elevator car, but they're coming out like a barred off area, and they still don't reload their guns.
Like, well, we made it. That's it.
Yeah.
We're here. That was easy.
Oh my god.
Plus, her pants are like painted on. Where does she have extra magazines? Mm-hmm. She can't.
His pants are painted on. I've been looking.
Again, guys,
Where's
I don't
our
know.
magazines?
I don't know why
I
you're
don't
staring
think they
at
have
the dudes.
holsters. Like, where
I
are they
wasn't looking
holding
at the
these
dudes.
guns all the time? They don't have holsters on them.
Right.
So they just what federal agents keeps the gun in like their waistband? Like none of them.
I do love how for years we've always made homoerotic like references, and Chris has always been very steadfast. He's like, not me.
Sorry, I'm not looking at the dude.
So
Got nothing against them.
So Boone and Novak make their way down more dark corridors. As we cut back and forth between them and Kane and his group doing the exact same thing. So it's just a lot of people walking down a lot of dark hallways right now. That's all it is. And then I had to do a double take on this because we see like a section of wall that it's like there's wall, and then there's like this section that's like it's like cement block, like cinder blocks stacked up to block off something, and then more wall. But and then we see that section like cinder block area that kind of magically disappears as a fog or magic mist begins to fill the corridor behind Boone and Novak. Like what?
Kind of made me think of Labyrinth. You know how like when she first starts walking through the labyrinth and things are moving and changing.
Yeah, once you change their perspective.
It's like I'm like, what's going on?
Well, first you saw the guy, the son of Satan, walk through there. So that's where I thought the mask came into play. He can open doors, but nope. That's not where they went with that.
No. So yeah, the two of them, the two of them enter this room that is behind the section of wall that magically disappears. And they enter this room, and there they find the bloody remains of Satan II, who has now been crucified and left on display. Satan II's body has been hacked apart and is nailed or tied to a cross. His severed head, which looks incredibly fake, seems to just be floating in air above his body. It doesn't look like it's nailed; it's just there. And his quote-unquote, the hair on his body looks like something you would pull out of your fucking shower drain when you try to declog it. It's just like this wet, slobby crap that is dumped on his head. The five evils emerge from the shadows, all dressed like they're in a cheap sci-fi movie outfit.
Yeah.
Like, they look like they're cast-offs from Krypton or something like that.
Man, thank you. That's exactly what I was going
They look like they're from fucking Krypton.
Yes.
I was thinking of Stargate. I was thinking kind of like some of those big bulky dudes from Stargate. Yeah.
I'm glad we all saw the same paper. Yeah, I thought Krypton.
Yeah. I thought Krypton too.
Yeah, it's much better than Stargate.
Right.
Yeah.
Bill Moseley says, "I am God, the great and terrible."
Now hold on, this bothers me.
Like I thought he's like,
Because this is the
that
guy.
from Wizard of Oz.
This is the guy that was supposed to be Hitler's fucking
head of the Resurrection Project.
So
yeah.
he should be very German, right?
Yeah, none of them have
I mean,
accents.
extremely German.
Yeah.
This dude has no even shade of a German
But remember, his special power was demographic vocal chameleon because he could change his voice to appropriate.
Jesus fucking
That's why
Christ.
I think that's
That
why
was
they
on the
explain why they have no
screen for 1 second.
Yeah, but I guess
Marshall.
but that's what they said.
Marshall
Oh.
paused it, wrote that shit down.
But it's exactly what I did.
Come on.
Wow. I didn't know that was even hit from Devil's Rejects. I was like, oh my God, that's that guy. Once
that
he got...
dude was also in Evil Bong.
Oh, yeah.
You know when they go inside the bong and it's like the nightclub type thing? He was one of the guys that kind of...
Bill
Bill
Moseley?
Moseley, yeah.
He was?
Look it up.
Yeah. I think he was, yeah. But we also just saw him in
This movie makes me want to watch Evil
was
Bong.
it Minutes to Midnight?
It was
We
Minutes to
just
Midnight,
phoned it
yeah.
in. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he just phoned. Yeah, he's like, he's just here to collect a paycheck. Now we cut to. This is awful too. We cut to, like this really shitty CGI scene. We're back in the elevator shaft. It's all CG. An elevator door opens, and a man who I think is supposed to be Kane leaps out of the elevator, like into the elevator shaft, like he's fucking Spider-Man. And he's like, "Follow me!" But it's all this really shitty CG, and it's so weird.
So apparently they jump from floor
It's like
to
they parkour
floor.
down an elevator
Yes,
shaft.
they parkour down.
Or like it's like in the original Ninja Gaiden, the wall leap. You know, when you leap from bouncing wall to wall. That's what they're doing, only in reverse. They're going down instead of up. Yeah, and it's a shitty CG effect.
So it's so hard. By the
It
way.
is one of the hardest games of all time. It's notorious. That and like Dark Souls are like the hardest games. Anyway, they come to Kane and his goons. They come to the same area that has a magically disappearing wall door, and we go back to Dune, Novak, and the evils. Now shit gets even more fucking confusing. Like if it isn't confusing enough. And the evils say that we have always been with you. And Michael Berryman like taps his head like, Like, we're in your heart. We've always been with you.
And of course, Michael Berryman is the guy who's The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, he's kind of like I hate
Dee
to
Wallace too in that movie.
Oh, was she? Oh,
I hate to say, but Michael Berryman is like a less deformed version of Sloth from Goonies.
Or The Mask. Rocky from The Mask. Yeah, or we like Weird Science. He was one of the ghouls in the Weird Science at the very end.
And he's like, don't tell anybody about this. I don't want to lose my teaching job.
So, the Evos ask them what they want. Novak says to get out of here. And at this point,
oh man, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you like that, but the guy who played Bennett in Commando was in that shower too with Michael Berryman.
Vernon Wells.
Yeah, Vernon Wells. Man, you just made me think back to those nerds standing there and all the like goons talking to him. I was like, oh, who's that guy? Wow.
So at this point, I gave up. It gets so goddamn confusing and like gibberish bullshit here that I gave up trying to convey.
They
so
go
you know
on
what?
just
this is where we're
bullshit.
gonna start playing some clips because you're just gonna listen for yourself all the bullshit dialogue that goes on from here on out. So here's the first clip of what I think Bill Moseley is talking to Novak about some shit. So just give a listen.
You've come for us. We have always been with you.
What do you want?
I want to get the fuck out of here. Figured you were our best bet.
Why didn't you just pray?
Do not pray to us.
Do you believe that we give you a better chance of being saved than God?
You were shot in the shower.
You freed me.
God is a supreme sadist. Evil is God's lie to maintain slavish obedience and conformity. We are the messengers of freedom from a vain, selfish, irrational God.
You have no idea the atrocities you committed. Only they would wipe them with their programs. They trained you. They made you into their slaves. We are here to free you. You are here to free us.
I never saw you.
But you have. They selected the memories that you carry. We let you see through the fog.
You're part of a brave new world now. There is no evil. Evil faces extinction.
Well, what about him?
We just gave him what he asked for. He wanted you to know. Read. Tell us what you see.
So yeah, a bunch of fucking weird ass gibberish he's saying that it's just cryptic and doesn't fucking mean anything.
A lot of religion tied into it.
Yeah,
all of a
now
sudden.
we're getting religion.
They keep talking about, like, they were talking earlier about how religion is now science and technology, and he's talking about God. And
and there's more of that to come too. Yeah, there's a lot more
Christ,
of that.
man.
But the last part of the clip is you hear him say, "Read, tell me what you see." And like I said, it gets fucking weirder and weirder from here on out. It's more confusing because Bill Moseley now uses some kind of magical telepathy or telepathic powers to move the entrails, the intestines that are from Satan 2's body, which are been spilled on the floor. And so these intestines start like wiggling around almost like snakes, like into moving his pool of blood. And Moseley's like, "Read, tell me what you see."
And then there's some sort of like.
So, like, these intestines are like tea leaves now, or like tarot cards, or like like voodoo queens like roll the bones to see
Throw
future.
the chicken bones.
Yeah,
out.
it's like what the fuck is going on?
Knuckle bones.
Bone. Yeah, I wish Knucklebones would show up here and just kill
Just start
everybody.
shooting it with a machine gun.
He was a Nazi. He did kill Nazis.
He did kill Nazis. That'd be great.
But like the lettering there is like almost some like there's like writing.
Yeah, there's some like
underneath.
runes, like runic writing in the blood or
Like
something like that.
Bizarre ancient text.
Right.
Yeah, it was like just made up bullshit. You can see
Where's
like
fucking E.T.
Yeah.
to
Right.
get down there?
or like I said, the Scargate writing or something. Who knows what?
Dee Wallace is already dead, man. She can't. She can't. They already ate ET. So.
Yeah.
So now we cut
Damn
to
it.
Boone. So he's like, Reed, what do you see? And then we cut to Agent Boone kneeling down next to Balthoria, the one female fifth evil, who is naked in her tub filled with blood.
Yeah, it just cuts this scene.
Yeah, just cut. And the background's still shitty
Well,
CGI.
we saw this scene earlier,
Yeah,
but
but
now
Boone
we're
wasn't
Now
there.
Boone's
Yeah,
in
right.
it.
But now Boone's in
Yeah.
it, which is weird because when we saw it the first time, it was like the VR thing, but which makes sense. But we see it again, it's still the VR, but we're there. Nobody's hooked up to VR at this point.
No.
And-
So why is the background
So-
VR?
Well, are they trying to explain the backstory? Because they're essentially saying that these two aren't really agents, that they were part of these experiments, and they're like the
We
guinea
don't-
pigs.
Are they
Yeah.
potentially the sixth and seventh evil?
Who
Possibly.
fucking knows? But Boone or Bathoria is like seductively tells Boone to take me, and Boone like
Right.
leans in like she's gonna kiss Balthoria, like they're about to get it on.
Which is her only line.
And her only
That is correct,
her only
yeah.
line in this movie is "take me." That's it. The rest of the time you see her, she's just standing there in her Kryptonian suit, looking around.
Looking
Which,
all-
by the way, can we talk about these Kryptonian suits have like glowing
Glowing
symbols?
symbols!
Like seriously, like Superman sigil, like all these weird symbols, and they're glowing. And then not only they glowing, but like when we see a wide shot of the fifth evils, it looks like they're standing on like a hot asphalt in the middle of
Yeah.
like a summer day because like all this wavy
Yes!
heat.
Yeah.
Like, they're on
Yes!
like what is happening? What's going on here?
It's like the heat on a hot summer day coming up from the street.
Yeah.
That wavy line effect.
Yeah.
Yes. That's perfect.
So
Man, I tried really hard to figure out what was going on here.
I just gave up. I fucking gave up.
I did
Well,
too.
what I think is that
But then-
the two agents supposedly were like the guinea pigs for what they were trying to do.
Maybe
in
because this
you
is
know
what
I
we
mean?
see next. We go from the bathtub scene to now we see Agent Boone hooked up to a VR like Total Recall
Right,
machine
right.
with tears running down her cheeks while Barbara Crampton is like punching in weird
Buttons and crap.
which are that weird runic writing we saw in the blood.
Right.
And then we see Novak slitting somebody else's throat, not the same throat of the soldier we saw in the beginning, but somebody completely different
Right.
now. So he's murdering somebody else. And then we go to Alexei Nila, who is Vernon Wells' character, who just says, "I will see you soon." And then Nila gets shot in the back of the head. The camera pulls
By
out,
Novak,
and
yeah.
it's Novak who murders Nila. And then we see Novak too is now hooked up to a VR chair. He's screaming as Barbara Crampton, stands next to him. We cut back to the present, where Mosley goes on to say that what you see in this facility is not contained here, that there are other death houses. They threaten both good and evil. And this brings me to clip number 2, which isn't as long as the first one, but it just, because I don't even want to talk about, try to even explain what these people are saying. Just, you have to listen to it and hear for yourself. So here we go.
Facility is not contained here. There are other death houses, and they threaten both good and evil.
How?
Technology is the new god. Software is the new dogma. They're using it to try to create a race that is neither good nor evil. It will just be. The world needs us. We need to be freed into it. You need to pursue us. Every killer secretly wants to be caught. Without us, there is no evil. Without evil, there is no good. True hell is nothingness.
Stay.
So now we get that technology, new God, new religious technology bullshit ramble on. It's fucking annoying. After that though, we cut back to Kane, who tells his crew to stay put, and he's in the same hallway that we saw Boone and Novak go down that leads to the magically disappearing wall. And as Kane starts walking down this hallway, this ghostly, misty tendrils or whatever.
Electric shock.
Yeah, whatever.
kinda.
It starts coming out of the walls and shoots down into Kane's body with like this electrical buzzing sound, like he's getting zapped by lightning
But
or
he
something.
gives zero fucks.
Yeah, Kane doesn't even seem to notice it at all. They do nothing to him. The inmate army
They'll
cheers behind him, seeing Kane just walk through his unharmed. He's like, yeah! So Kane approaches the section of wall that we saw magic disappear earlier, only this time it doesn't disappear. It just kind of stays there for now. Two of his inmate followers decide to, hey, must be okay. Let's go after
we
Kane.
can
We
go
go.
too.
And they get zapped down by the weird lightning tendrils, and they're
Instantly
killed.
dead.
They're dead instantly. Which kind of reminded me of this a scene from it's not a horror movie at all, just in the 80s. It reminded me of the scene from Neverending Story where Atreyu comes to the two watchers and he watches from a distance as like this knight on a horse tries to go through and he gets zapped and killed instantly, and then he has to go through and tries to pass the test. But I don't know, it's just that's what came to my mind. That's a great movie. So anyway,
Never seen it.
Say my name.
Oh,
you've never seen Neverending Story. What the hell is wrong with you?
Oh my God, are you serious?
Dude, when I was a kid, Goonies, Neverending Story, and
I feel like I'm about to get attacked here.
Yeah,
like
you
I'm
are.
like,
Dude.
my hands are raised.
Dude, it's on Netflix.
that was around like
Hey.
my
Do
cycle
yourself
as a
a favor.
kid.
Do yourself a favor. Roll a joint. Sit back and watch fucking Neverending Story, dude. Netflix
No
is
kidding.
free.
Dude,
I'm
I'm
seen
gonna call
In
our
fact,
friend Paul
that better be
Cochran.
way more entertaining than what we just watched.
Yeah, it would be.
and be way more fun.
I'm gonna have
I agree,
Paul. I'm gonna call Paul, and Paul's gonna have you on his podcast, Pop Culture Intervention, and you're gonna have an intervention for Neverending Story.
Yeah, I haven't
So
seen it.
shout out to Pop Culture Intervention
gonna
if
say,
you ever guys
wow.
ever.
Yeah, shout out to Pop Culture Intervention if you guys haven't heard that one.
Anyway, so so they're dead. Meanwhile, Bill Moseley is still rambling on. He's now talking about how they were in prison here because they were a threat to the likes of Dr. Fletcher, aka D. Wallace, and people who think that humans can be transcended above their flaws, above good and evil. Now Kane walks up behind Boone and Novak. So he just appears behind these guys in this room. Boone and Novak spin around, or Moseley greets him by name, and Boone and Novak spin around, guns aimed at Kane. Kane seems happy that the evils know his name, know who he is. And he tells them that he's connected with what has made them immortal. And that I too am immortal now. And this brings us to my third and final clip. This is Kane and Bill Moseley talking about their immortality and some weird bullshit, trying to explain their connection and stuff. I don't fucking know. Who cares at this point? But here you go.
My crimes have never been deemed acceptable. Yet what you saw up there, children being used and abused for the sake of progress, that transcends evil, disguised as good.
See,
You know my name. I've followed all of you. I've connected with what has made you immortal. I've had communion with the power. I've studied.
you followed.
Yes, everything. Now I'm one of you. You hear that? I brought them here. They followed me here, knowing how long you've been imprisoned.
You were always a part of our plan,
What plan?
our escape plan.
I am your servant. I've learned so much.
We know you. We studied you while we slept. You disgust us.
Listen. Listen to me. I am immortal.
Really?
All right, so after Bill Moseley says, really, all the evils bow their heads like they're in prayer or something like that. And I guess what they're doing is they're using their weird, magical, unexplained powers to turn on the death gas. Because we always see is steam start building out pipes and vents, followed by this green gas. Those misty electrical like tendrils, they appear in the room and start zapping around the room along flying yellow globes. Like yellow globes, they're like of energy that are like darting around the room as well. I don't know what the fuck those are supposed to be or where they came from. So yeah, we have green gas, we have steam, we have electrical tendrils of energy and flying yellow orbs flying around. It's just a clusterfuck of bullshit going on.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if we go back for a minute, when Dee Wallace takes them into that chamber with the 20-foot walls or whatever where they're hanging on the dead bodies.
Yeah.
She explains that that's where they test the death gas.
Yes, I thought so.
And it's supposed to completely. There's no body parts are left.
Right.
Yeah, I think
it
basically breaks down the body into like.
But it
ash
only
or something
works
like
on certain people, right? Isn't that what she kind of
I
said?
didn't quite get that.
I didn't get that.
Well, that's why the other bodies were still hanging there because they didn't dissolve.
Well, they didn't take. They didn't take a little bit slower.
What
Yeah.
I'm getting
I
at
don't know.
is how the fuck did the death gas not kill Novak and Boone, or completely destroy them?
Yeah, that's a really good point because I guess
Sorry, I'm getting
they're
ahead of
immortal too, like everybody else in this movie apparently. But apparently Boone and Novak they do seem to pass out or something because they fall to the floor. At this point, Kane still seems to be unaffected by
He's
any
smiling.
of this.
He's like, "Hey, I'm fine, man. Look at me.
Yeah,
I'm more like you. Woohoo!
Yeah,
Party.
right.
I'm number 6. I'm 6 evil. Big time 6."
It cuts the shots of all the inmates like throughout the prison hacking, coughing, grabbing at their throats as they all start falling to the floor.
Everyone's dying.
Yeah, we also get you see a few of the remaining staff members and lab coats doing the same thing. Yeah, everyone's dying. Kane stands there smiling at the evils, like with a big grin on his face, still unaffected. But then he looks down at like his stomach, rips his shirt open like Hulk Hogan, and what we get next is a real shit show.
Yeah,
of
couldn't he
crappy
just
CGI.
lift up his shirt?
Yeah,
But he's like,
Hulkamaniacs! And Kane's body then suddenly just ignites into like flames and burns away as Kane screams and just like dies. Like he just burns
Burns
turns
away.
to ash and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
burns away.
The gas does what it's supposed to do. Is what.
But
you know.
was it the gas? Because I didn't think the gas was going to like set people on fire. Because none of the other inmates were set on fire.
But the gas was supposed to decompose the bodies in such a way
Right.
that there's no human remains
Right.
left over
Maybe,
whatsoever.
but none of the inmates burned to death.
No,
And
you're right.
I
They were
don't-
like just there's full bodies
It's like
left
they
over.
just asphyxiate and
Right.
die. And,
Yes.
but Kane like erupts into flames and is burnt to ash. Like I don't fucking know what's happening.
But then they show those 20 bodies that were hanging up, and they're like,
Yeah, and they turn to
and they
ash.
just all
They
like, explode. They're
and,
like, pow, 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 pow,
yeah.
pow, pow. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't.
So weird.
I don't know
What
what
is happening?
I don't know.
Fuck this movie.
Fuck this movie.
God damn it.
I will repeat everything you're saying. God damn it, because I wholeheartedly agree. So, yeah,
love you too.
Kane screams. He dies. He's gone. We cut to shots, of various areas of the prison. Everyone's dead. There's bodies around. All is quiet now. It's just like empty.
Yeah, there's bodies around.
Yes.
No one else.
We just saw 20 bodies explode.
Yeah, but then we see like one dead guard like hanging over
And
like
now
a desk.
there's bodies just laying around.
Yeah, they didn't think this through very clearly. Then we go back to the evils standing over and looking down at Boone and Novak. Mosley says, "A clean slate, washed away from original sin.
What?
Welcome to the world, boy." And then, but during this whole time, there's like a bunch of like rainbow-colored energy floating up and around, like coming up from, I guess, Boone and Novak's bodies.
It's like the Infinity Gauntlet, like fucking like different gems floating up in the
there's
air.
Energy, rainbow colors. It's fucking crazy.
Too soon.
Blackout. And in the blackout, we hear Novak gasp for air and the AI computer voice say, "Facility back online." We cut to Boone and Novak flinging open a door to the outside. They find themselves in the bright sunlight. Boone asks, "What now?" To which Novak replies, "We go find them, bring them back, we reboot the game." And we see 2 helicopters flying in from a distance.
So does that mean the 5 evils
Escape?
Now, there was a scene where Bill Moseley, and maybe we just talked
It
about
was
this,
it's
but,
played, but yeah, I know what you're. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but there was one line where he says that good and evil both have to exist.
Yeah, it's like yin and yang. Like you have, like you need us. You have to hunt us.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
you have to
Right.
pursue us. So Boone says,
reality would be stale.
Yeah.
It sure would be boring if there was no evil
Right.
and good.
Agent Boone just says, "We don't even know what we are, who we are," and Novak says, "Let's go find out."
I was gonna say what he should say is, well, let's go bang it out real quick,
Yeah.
and
then the two of them
He
just
didn't
walk
get a
off.
boner in the
But there's, like,
shower. He
no
has no
sexual
desire to
tension.
do that.
No sexual
There's
tension.
no sexual tension
No.
between them whatsoever.
None.
None.
should have been.
But at least they don't try. They're not trying to have sexual tension, and like the two actors, they just didn't even push for that.
I'm assuming
I
he's
was
gay.
I was actually glad they didn't try to start playing like some kind of
Yeah.
love story between the two. I'm glad they didn't go that route.
Yeah.
But
It's way too confusing anyway.
the two of them, like I said, they just walk off into something, and then we cut back to fucking Tony Todd looking up into the sky, watching the helicopters pass by in the distance. He raises a hand up, points at the helicopters, and says, "Work to do." And then he cuts to Todd asking another girl who's sitting in the back of his truck what her name is. The girl crying and sobbing says her name is Linz. Todd says, "Well, Linz, welcome to the farm." And with that, he closes the back doors of his truck on her as she sobs. Blackout, roll credits. What in the holy fuck did we just watch?
They focus in on the back of the van that says
radioactive.
Yeah, radiation.
That's gotta be a throw out the something.
I don't know. Is Tony Todd is he the guy who collects the homeless people for the
That's what I'm
experimentation?
wondering.
That's maybe, but I don't know.
That's my thought. But
That's the
then
only thing I can think of.
everyone's dead. Shouldn't he be like, well, that place is done. Off you
I
go,
would say
girl.
he might not know because he wasn't in the prison. But if he's
But
But
if
if
Bill
he's-
Mosley
what are
also
the
said
difference between the
there's
people in this-
multiple other ones.
there's other death
Yeah.
houses, but if he's not, if everybody's dead and if he's collecting people for the death house, then what's the farm? Because we assume that maybe the people we heard screaming in the grate were the ones, the homeless, or he
Fuck
captured
this
for
movie.
the. But then what's the farm?
Fuck this
What's
movie.
the farm?
Fuck this movie.
I hate. Yeah, fuck this
I
movie.
agree.
So, all right, guys, that's fucking Death House.
Oh, does everybody feel good now? All this,
This is
you
the
know,
worst.
waiting for this movie.
Yeah.
Aaron reminded me that we've talked about it multiple times
Multiple
on other
times.
shows.
We have more rants to do, but let's move on to favorite kills now.
There can be only one. Favorite kill.
Not fucking much to choose from, in my opinion. Jesus Christ, this is probably gonna go real. I think we're gonna have the same one, I'm imagining, but I've been wrong before. So
It's so funny because I don't remember any specific kills.
for a movie called Death House, there's surprisingly few kills, and it's mass murder by gas, but gas chamber. But fuck it, let's let Doug, why don't you start us off, too?
Yeah,
bud?
Doug, you've been surprisingly quiet.
Yeah, you have been surprisingly quiet. I give you this big, elaborate, awesome introductions, and then you just kind of sit there
I think one
quiet
problem
today.
is he doesn't have headphones on.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Movie sucks, guys. That's why Doug's got nothing to say.
I will say the worst kill for me. Can I just say my worst kill instead
Worst
of my
kill.
best kill?
That might be best. What's worst kill?
The worst kill was when Danny Trejo killed Camille Keaton in the bed, because I was like, that's a pretty big horror star. People know who she is, and you couldn't even tell who she was. And it kind of pissed me off that that's the way they used her.
So within the first 10 minutes of this movie, you're already pissed off?
Yeah, that which makes sense.
No.
I don't know. Favorite kill, whatever. I mean, sure, I'll go with where Kane Hodder ripped the guy's face off.
Face rip. Yeah.
But everybody's gonna choose that.
I'm
So
pretty
that's why I
sure.
said worst kill.
Chris?
Yeah, the bowling ball.
All right, let's just.
Face
Are we
rip.
just all going to say the face rip? No, Aaron shaking his head. No, okay. So we do have a.
No, my favorite kill was, and this kind of goes along with Doug. I was really upset that they didn't use Debbie Rochon the way, like, at least give her a little bit more than just call her Leatherlace, have her do the wiggle dance. But when she was carving in the person, that was fucking tough looking,
Yeah.
man. Like shoving the chainsaw deep into the body, showing blood fly up all over.
I forgot about that,
This
yeah.
was just, it was visceral. It looked fucking nasty.
And the fact that it's Debbie Rochon, but she's covered in a mask. You can't even tell it's
You
her.
can't, yeah.
Like,
and
there's
then-
no way you know it
and then
was
when
her
you
unless
do
you read the
show her,
credits.
she has VR goggles on and she's in a tube and she like bumps against the tube briefly and floats back. It could have been anybody.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I want to go to that scene real quick. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's fine.
So they said that she's got these VR goggles on, and there's a constant
Loop of her fat father. Saying
Was her
something.
father? Was that
Gunnar Nelson?
was
Gunnar
Hansen?
Gunnar Hansen.
Gunnar Nelson's an
Oh,
Icelandic MMA
the
fighter.
guy that's on the
Yeah.
tube, the
Yeah.
hologram.
I think
it
so.
was.
It
Yeah,
might have
Like
been.
it.
It
It
could have
looked a
been.
lot like him.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
All right.
Hey, good catch. Good catch.
Yeah, you know, I forgot about
Nice
the
catch.
There weren't many.
chainsaw kill, Leatherface. I forgot
That was
about
my
that
favorite
one.
kill.
But I guess I was going to go probably the face rip too, just because. We could argue that's a bullshit kill because that's a VR kill. It doesn't count as a kill.
No, because they said these are actual
Yes.
kills.
Yeah,
and
there
they
was actual
found
footage
hours,
from-
100
It was
100
found
plus
footage,
hours.
Marshall.
Oh, found footage. Okay,
yeah.
you're right. All right, I was probably gonna go the face rip.
We
though, too.
love found
Face rip.
footage, don't we?
Yeah, you know my thoughts on found footage stuff. All right.
But I love that Doug's is like my least favorite kill.
All right, there's that. Let's move on to the odds and ends for this week.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
Ratings. IMDb gives it a 3.5 out of 10, 3.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, fuck you, Rotten Tomatoes. Still high for my bid. 40% on the thermometer, which is still too high.
Way too high.
And fuck you, audiences. There's a 74% audience score.
What?
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Man, we're all angry over
Insane.
here.
Yeah.
That
we all were like,
is
"Ah!"
crazy.
Insane. And then Amazon gives it a 3.2 out of 5. Plot keywords. There are only 4 plot keywords for this movie, which surprised me. Secret prison, evil creature, gore, fuck you, there's no gore, and ensemble cast. That was it.
Ensemble cast? Yes.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
That's all you get.
Trivia. I got 2 things really I'm going to mention that were I really come up that I didn't deep dive into this too much because I didn't have time. But apparently, take this for what you will. I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently early drafts of the script have been written as possible scenes or storylines for future Saw movies franchises. I'm guessing what you would maybe what in like the VR like prisoners VR sequences or something maybe. I don't know, but that's what it is. And the tagline, one of the taglines for this movie is "Hell isn't a word, it's a sentence." ...
They said that in the movie.
But I didn't understand it. They did say that.
Bill
in the
Moseley
movie.
says that. Hell isn't a word, it's a sentence. And I'm like, I don't get what that means.
And then they didn't
Sentence
say it in
isn't
the
prison
sentence.
sentence, like you're sentenced to prison. It's
Oh.
not.
Oh, I thought the word hell is it's in a sentence. You've never known the true meaning of hell. Like
No, hell is not just a word. It's a sentence, like you've been sentenced to.
Oh.
That's what
Man,
prison.
now A plus.
Really, guys?
A
None of you
plus.
call that? Okay, wow. All right. Anyway, that's really all I cared about.
One more trivia. Did we mention on air about the Adrienne Barbeau thing, or are you gonna get to that?
We might have, I don't remember. If you want to say it again, go ahead.
That she was the narrator.
Yeah,
the
Adrienne
virtual
Barbeau was
narrator.
the voice of the AI computer, the intercom lady.
Famous from Swamp Thing.
Yes, and if anybody out there, any audience members have not seen Swamp Thing, do yourself a favor and check out Adrienne Barbeau. in
She's
Swamp
basically
Thing.
naked the whole time, but she's actually clothed.
Oh my god!
But you would never tell because it just her
Yes.
clothes just hang on her
Yes,
loosely.
they're very tight or wet.
And those titties.
Good God!
All right,
Let's go
move-
watch Swamp Thing. What do you
Yeah,
say?
let's move on. Do that afterwards. Let's move on to this week's budget game.
It's now time to play everyone's favorite game, Guess the Budget.
All right,
Yes,
it did
it
get a little
did.
creepy. Now, budget games give me a little different because I don't have the actual budget for this movie.
Really?
I which surprised me because as much
Yeah.
as this movie is fucking talked about, but I have guessed the gross. So you're gonna guess how much money this movie made. And there's the opening weekend and the total gross. So 2 numbers. I will give you. It's a very limited release. So keep that in mind when you guess these. But I'm gonna need 2 numbers from each of you as to who's guessing what.
So what were the 2 options?
Opening weekend and total gross.
Okay, guess what? I don't remember ever fucking coming out around here. Do you?
No.
You ever hearing about it?
No.
Nope.
Nothing like that? No.
Nope.
This
So
would
I'm
have been
guessing-
this would have been like a Tivoli type movie.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
At best.
At
I'm
best.
guessing this was
At
probably
best.
played once like a film festival or something,
Yes.
and like that's its limited release, and then or maybe did a film circuit or something, but where they charge the ticket prices. But it does have a gross, but like what it made.
Opening weekend, I'm gonna guess $5,000 gross 10.
5 and then total gross is 10. Okay, Chris, what's your guess?
I'm gonna say 2050.
Opening 20, total gross 50. Okay, and Doug?
I'll do in between there. I'll do, let's say, opening 12,000.
Okay.
And let's do 24,000 for the gross.
24 for the gross. Okay. Now, we have a winner. We have a very distinct winner here. It makes me wonder if the winner maybe saw any of these numbers beforehand. But the opening limited release weekend, it was $10,224. So Doug wins that one.
Oh, I didn't know. I swear to God, I didn't look it up.
Total gross in the United States was $23,833.
Yeah.
So Doug clean sweeps this one.
I just went in the middle of those two. I swear to God. True story. I was gonna choose 510. Like Aaron, I was gonna say 510 for sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Good job.
I just went in the middle. Yeah.
So all right. Well, there you go. Play the odds. Play the averages. I guess. All right. That brings us to this week's 5-star reviews.
Holy shit.
These special movies have a place in these special people's hearts. 5-star reviews.
I'm so glad you said that. I love that.
I do that every time.
All right. There are 53 total reviews on Amazon for this right now. 41% are 5-star reviews.
Fuck those people.
With 25% are 1-star reviews.
God damn it.
Yeah, so just sit tight and enjoy this raving lunatic nonsense.
Gotta be better than the movie.
All right, some of these are long, but god damn it. All right, so I'll do my best to try to cut through and skim down some of these. All right, first of all, from Tim O'Donnell, the Celtic critic, who I think we've seen him before.
Okay.
Gunnar Hansen is long down with pride at what Harrison Smith did with his prized project. Death House blurs the line between good and evil and exemplifies the power of the mind. The human mind can and will conquer all adversaries when properly applied. Man over machine, man over matter, freedom over authoritarianism. I can't talk. Authoritarianism. I can't. Whatever.
You're fine.
Death House is the thinking man's newest Bible. Of course, if you were just looking for violence, monsters, horror kings and queens, and beautiful naked women, look no further. The star-studded cast lineup of talent dating back over 50 years. The stars are gorgeous and talented. Newcomer Courtney Prom is perfect as Toria Boone, government agent, loyal but searching for the truth. Courtney is exceptional, talented, and fine, blah, blah, blah. Her fine and dandy shape is on full display in her shower scene. Okay, I'm skipping over that. Iconic Tony Todd begins and ends epic as Farmer Asha recruiting Linz. Okay, I'm skipping over this. Is just now he's basically breaking down person by person. It's the only thing that Gunnar Hansen makes his final appearance alongside Miss Roshan as they've danced that dance before to high accolades. So I guess that was him on the tube. Kane Hodder is brutally efficient at sing. He's just basically sucking the dick off of every person in this movie. And especially through it excites the horror queen Genoveva Rossi, Demon Productions, Sherry Fairchild, and Frank. I don't know, a bunch of people I've never heard of. The whole cast and crew.
What are you saying, Marshall?
Yeah, he's like mumbling over
I'm
here.
sorry. He's just rattling off every basically person in this movie, praising them.
Then fuck this guy. Don't read this. Don't read
the whole
it.
cast and crew have done Gunnar proud. Thank you, Gunnar, and thank you all. 5 stars. James Lincoln simply writes, she was very happy, which don't know what that one means, but I find it kind of funny and odd.
Very happy. 5
She
star
was
review.
very happy. 5 stars. Chris Campagnarigo. They say still waters run deep, but so do violently churning blood-stained waters. Watching Death House, I was reminded a great deal of early John Carpenter, even from the score has a Carpenter synth feel to it. To me, Death House is a sort of Escape from New York, Assault on Precinct 13, Reanimator, and The Thing mixed with Dante's Inferno. It all reminds me in a way that the Devil's Rejects, and that there is more being said here than simply the deep depravities of the scum of the earth. There's a lot of fun to be had in Death House. The film has a deliberate 80s feel to texture to it. No, it doesn't. There's nothing 80s about this movie whatsoever.
Did they just look up IMDb and look at every person that was in this movie and just start ripping out movies that they were also
basically.
in?
Yeah. If you
How
like,
are you going to compare
Or
this
did
movie
they
to Devil's
work on
Rejects?
this movie, I guess?
Well,
They
wait till we get to the 1-star reviews. The film, if you like gore, is there in bucket loads. Exceedingly executed in old school practical effects. There are Easter eggs aplenty for horror fans.
I don't disagree with that.
The movie has been filled with Expendables of horror because it boasts the largest collection of horror stars in a single film. It's a good tagline, but not quite fair to Death House. You'll see familiar face. Okay, blah 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 blah. Sprinkle here and there. I'm relatively sure that one of the 3 scenes is a subtle salute to the Shape and Jason. I guess the one with the mask, which I don't get that just because he's a mask. I don't think that's a salute to Jason or any of that.
No, I didn't get that at
That
all.
was the end, and they're in the credits.
Yeah, there's a post-credit
Why
scene.
would you do that to Kane Hodder?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ugh.
And then Danny one writes, one of the greatest films of all times. This movie should be a huge wake-up call to this generation. Not only to what our future holds, but also to what is happening right now. If you didn't understand parts of this movie, then you weren't paying attention. It points out that all the moral battles we faced along with this unmatched and incredibly talented cast of crew, I'll recommend it over and over again. 5 stars.
They reference social media, Marshall.
Actually, this feels an awful lot like a millennial director because fucking half-assing, fucking read into it, bro.
Yeah, you're just not looking. You're not getting it.
Buzzword.
Yeah,
Operation Paperclip. Study it, bro.
All right, 1-star reviews. Now these are probably more spot on. Bradley James Connor 82. This is an IMDb one, not Amazon, but it's a 1 out of 10 review. I don't know what happened. I understand there were probably budgetary strains and such, but just damn, everything came off badly. The acting, the lighting, the special effects, the plot, and on. Worst of all could perhaps be the ending. What the fuck was that? Mm-hmm. I really hope this wasn't what Gunnar Hansen had in mind when he came up with the idea originally. And why were some of those actors even in the cast? Just so they would have more names to put in the credits? Because they did absolutely nothing at all in this movie. Clearly, B. Harrison Smith was overreaching and had no right to make the Expendables of horror, especially as only his 3rd full feature movie. Maybe wait until you can actually direct before trying something like this. 1 star.
Well done.
Joshua Lincoln, what a terrible insult to the memory of Gunnar Hansen. This movie is an unenjoyable pile of nonsensical writing, wooden acting, horrendous CGI, and pointless cameos by other horror icons. I truly regret that I got hyped for this movie and pre-ordered it. As both an avid horror fan and a so bad it's good horror fan, I cannot recommend this movie in any way, shape, or form. It's bad and soul-crushing.
You poor bastard.
Maxwell 89, the Expendables of horror movies? Really? More like an expendable horror movie. So
Such a simple joke, but
it works, yeah.
It works.
So disappointed. I waited for nearly half a year for this movie, and what I got was nowhere near what I expected. For the hype it was given, I expected more plot, more action, more intricate and graphic scenes, but no, just low-budget, sloppy garbage. Frankie, just titled, what? What I watched and what people wrote on here to see and be opposite sides of the spectrum. This movie was terrible. Nice short one. From ML, astonishingly boring. You know what? Hold on a second. I'm just skimming through this because some of these are long. Carry on amongst yourselves, guys. Talk for a second.
So, you guys want to get something to eat after this?
Something.
I was thinking about getting a steak. I don't know what you guys.
Sounds delicious.
Maybe Fletcher's?
I wish I should have edited these down a bit more, but I just did not have time. All right, Alan, these good reviews. Okay, I'll write these one. Alan writes, these good reviews are fake. These reviews are so clearly fake. I only watch horror. I really enjoy terrible horror, but this is just pure garbage, and there's absolutely nothing redeeming about it. It's not fun. It's not funny. It's not unique. It's dark. It's boring. It's basically an action movie. Pure trash. Basically saying all the 5-star reviews are like how people.
It's a great point. It was essentially an action movie more than
it really
more than
was
a horror movie. I mean,
it's from ML. It's like Ross astonishingly boring. Excruciatingly dull exposition dump with an abundance of over-intelligentalized musings about technology and morality. You need evil in order to have good. How original technology social media are making this dumb and numb. What a groundbreaking idea. Most of the cameos are pointless. Still don't know why Danny Trejo is in it for 7 seconds.
Right.
Even the endless exposition, I actually don't know why anyone was there. The central casting people, the homeless people, Tony Todd. I'm sure the blow-vading director would claim I just didn't get it, but I got it all right. It was 90 minutes of banal navel gazing with some terrible practical and digital effects mixed in, and total unnecessary nudity. Trying not to order distract how dull the whole thing was. Say people blah blah blah. Anyway, you get the joke or get the bit of it. There's another one that ran.
Let's wrap this up.
It rambles on about the pointless shower scene. It just you get the gist of it. Sorry guys, that's not my best go for that one, but I didn't have time to edit them down.
No, that's okay. But yeah, fuck those 5-star reviews.
Yeah, I agree. So that brings us to our final thoughts and reviews. Let's like I said, we'll start with work around. So Doug, you can start off with your final take.
Coffee Doug Jones.
Coffee Doug, what'd you think?
Thanks,
so bad it's good. So bad it's good. So bad it's scary.
Even his beer is coffee. He's drinking a coffee stout right now.
I am. I'll have. I got 3 things to say since you said I didn't say enough, and I'll make it very quick. The first thing is that I always try to give movies the benefit of the doubt. We all try to have fun with them. Even the ones that suck, we enjoy watching them in the end. This one was a little rough because of the potential. It just had such great potential. Yeah. And I read a thing online somewhere that said you could have had the 5 evils be Kane Hodder, Robert Englund, all of them, and have them really fuck up the prisoners somehow. Just that scene alone. So
yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
The second thing I was going to say is the director, B. Harrison, is that his name?
B. Harrison Smith.
His next movie coming out, Marshall, I want to let you know this because it's called The Dawn of 5 Evils, which is a prequel to Death House about the 5 evils, but they're not even all cast in it yet. They don't even have so it looks like that. Good luck. Good luck with that.
Wow.
Yeah, good luck with that, buddy.
Well, I guess we'll be doing that in the future.
And then the third thing I want to say, and I do really mean this, is for you guys to make it 150 episodes is fucking incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Next
Thank you,
to
Doug.
impossible.
Thank you.
Cheers to you. I really do mean that. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
And you make it a lot of fun, and it's always a good time, and I could tell all the work you truly put into it. That's amazing. So a round of applause.
Thank you. Thanks. But you didn't answer the question.
I don't know what the question
so
was.
Bad is
Marshall.
good, so bad is
What would you
scary.
recommend? Is it so bad good, so bad scary? Final thought.
I'd say so bad it's scary for true horror fans. They're going to be disappointed.
All right.
Sucks. Yeah.
Chris.
I agree with pretty much everything Doug said. The potential for this movie was great. I feel like Kane Hodder or Gunnar Hansen had an idea and started writing it and then died of fucking pancreatic cancer. And this dude picked up the torch, filled in the holes, and fucked it up.
Dude, he extinguished the torch. He just took that torch dumped it in a barrel of water.
Absolutely. Too many open-ended questions, too much bullshit, not enough. If you're going to do the, this giant cast and then show some of these people and, incorporate them a little bit. And they did none of that. Too confusing. You can't follow this movie whatsoever. So bad it's scary. Fucking horrible.
All right. Aaron.
This movie didn't make any fucking sense. God damn it. It didn't make any sense from start to finish. I was totally lost. I was totally confused. And I watched it twice. And I was still
Aaron,
for Aaron to watch it twice.
Still didn't understand what was happening. Because the first time I watched it, I had a couple of drinks, smoked a little hay, and hey. I was like, okay, I'm going to watch it sober. It was worse. So, everything that was already been said. You had the potential to be so cool. In the prison, I get it. You could have been a supernatural prison. You could have had all these extras, all these extra people, all these different names throughout. This gal killed someone through witchcraft. This guy killed someone through voodoo. This guy, and it can show flashbacks. I mean, if you want to do something like that, it could have been. It's easy. It's easy to do. It's not hard, but they made it hard, convoluted, confusing. It was over my head and under my butt. It was just a fucking mess. It was a goddamn mess, and it was an easy. It felt like a layup, honestly. It felt like it was when I read that it was going to have all these people in a prison, it felt like it could have been something easy to do. You just could have done scene by scene, prisoner by prisoner. They all get loose. They kind of have little shots of their special technique, their violence, and then it comes to a conclusion, the end. Yeah, that seems like a pretty solid, good idea, right?
I agree with you, man.
And just call it a supernatural prison. Could have been awesome, but no.
I agree with you. I think that's they should have just had
and if you're doing the other thing is, if you're doing the Expendables of horror, where the fuck was Robert Englund?
Well, we kind of talked about that. We talked at the beginning. They reached out to him to be him, but he talked to Kane Hodder about it. But apparently, they never actually sent him a script to go over before he signed on.
If we talked about that on air, if we were just bullshitting.
Yeah, he never got signed on because he never saw the script ahead of time.
So I'm gonna say so bad it's scary.
Yeah, so bad. Okay, thank you,
Marshall.
We're clean sweeping this. 100% so bad it's scary. This movie.
Thank you, Marshall, for clean sweeping it. For a second there, I thought you were gonna.
They fucked this up all sorts of ways. It's a clusterfuck of a movie. I like a lot of what you said, Aaron. They could have done if this death house, the inmates all could, like I said, Kane Hodder, or like the evil, like Kane Hodder, Robert Englund, they were 5 Eagles, and they could have done their thing. But if they're gonna be the Expendables, like one thing the Expendables did so well is, yeah, you get all these names, but they didn't have like every single name in the first movie, and you're gonna make a play. Most horror movies become a franchise. You try to make sequels. Get like a third of those names, put them in the first movie. Give them time. Give them a part to actually do something and be recognized. And then when you make your sequels, then you start bringing in all the other names like they did with the Expendable franchises. And then everybody gets their moment in this movie to actually be worthwhile to being in the movie.
But one was good with like explosives. One was good with kung fu. One was good with this, and you could have done that same thing. It's like one could do this, one could do that. Like,
and they can't,
instead of having Brinky Stevens in
just in the background, I didn't even notice or see her.
I was totally disappointed.
And like I said, Felicia Rose had like one line. She just smiled and walked away. Then it's like, and Lloyd Kaufman was basically a joke, but
it wasn't even a good joke.
Not even a good one.
He wasn't like comic relief. And that's another thing I really hate about this movie is they had no fun. They had zero fun.
Yeah,
there was
you're right.
No,
like I said,
fun.
this movie tried to be so serious and so like so preachy with this like technology, moral, social media message that it just lost all sense of fun and just became, like I said, this clusterfuck of bullshit confusion.
They didn't have any fun with this movie.
No.
And
I don't think the actors had fun. I think by the time they were just like, let's just going through the motions, let's get this
How
shit
I feel
over
about
with.
this podcast. I'm not having fun.
This
has been a long, hard one.
Yeah. That's what she said.
I was like, whoa. I was waiting for. I just set that one up, waiting for someone to spike it down.
I agree. This movie had tons of potential, and like one of the reviewers said I don't know what that was, but when I first saw this on Amazon, when I first saw it come available, like, oh shit, I just straight up bought it before I watched it, and really wish that Bangy would stop wherever that's coming from. And I was so pissed when I watched it. I was like, this is what I paid for. I bought this. I can't get rid of it now. It's permanently there.
You bought this?
I bought this.
Why?
Because I was like, it's Death House. It's finally here. It's gonna be awesome. I straight up bought it.
Like you bought it on Blu-ray or what?
No, digital on Amazon.
Oh, okay. How much was it?
I don't remember. I really don't remember.
He just
He's ashamed.
I'm simply ashamed. No, I don't remember.
I rented it. I did a 48-hour rental, and I'm ashamed.
I spent $5 on this.
And this to me is right now, as it says, my pick to win this year's Worst of the Worst tournament. This is my pick to win it all. And
that's coming up.
Saying
isn't it?
like bad, like Blood Freak and Blood Beat were bad movies, but they were bad in such a fun fucking way. I would watch those 1,000 times before I'd want to watch this again.
I totally disagree because the fans, the people who watch, are the people who listen. The people who
know
people may not even seen it. Be like, whoa, it's got all these great people. It can't be that bad.
You're right. Okay, I should get back. I can't speak for the people, but I say this is my personal Worst of the Worst. I can't say we'll win the tournament. I don't know, but it's my personal pick to be Worst of the Worst. I think it will be in the finals. I think the fans will understand when it comes and they'll vote it in. Anyway, that's our rant. This has been a long episode, guys. Thanks for bearing with us, but this was a big movie. We had to get
hard
through.
one. It's been a hard one.
It was a big deal.
It's been a long and hard one.
Oh. Rapey Kyle's gonna like you.
Me and Rapey Kyle go back.
All right, guys.
Met him down in Carbondale.
We're going to wrap this up. We've gone long enough. All right, guys. Thanks for joining with us. Thanks for sticking with us for 150 episodes. And here's to a lot more. We're excited to do it. This has been awesome. So thank you, Doug. Thank you, Chris. Sarah, sorry you couldn't be here for this. We were hoping you would be.
Yep, she wanted to be.
So in the meantime, guys, we'll be back later.
Thank you, Marshall. Thank you, Aaron. How about that?
Well,
absolutely.
Yeah,
thanks, guys. Hey,
I was going to thank myself.
yourself.
Straight up, thanks for letting us be here, and thanks for letting me do a majority of these.
Yeah, you've been a lot. So yeah, guys, we'll be back later. In the meantime, watch more horror movies. Not this one, but watch more horror movies. And remember to always keep it tight.
Peace.